It's Sunday night. It's OTS. We are live, man. The dream is over. Patrick Clark has been fired by WWE. You don't know who that is? Better known as the Velveteen Dream. NXT also released several of its roster, including referees. We will go over all of that, who was released, and why it really doesn't matter for WWE. John Cena. You may be seeing him sooner than you think. WWE has already been told to start booking the return of John Cena. I got your Monday Night Raw, your SmackDown, your AEW and NXT news and rumors for the week. And I got news on Moose. Where is he going? It may not be with Impact. We'll talk about it and why I think he stays right where he is. All this plus so much more right here on episode 377 of Off the Script. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is episode 377 live right here on YouTube. Welcome to the OTS venue. Unreal, man. Unreal. We got a live episode of Off the Script. Totally did not expect at the beginning of the week to go live with OTS. And here we are, man. It is hot. It is hot. It is sticky. It is muggy. It is the summertime finally here, man. I was actually going to do a regular Off the Script on Saturday, and I decided, you know what? We got Vault of Glass in Destiny 2. We got the first ever raid coming back in Destiny 2. Destiny 2 right now probably is my favorite game out on any platform. I'm a big Destiny guy. And I'm looking crazy red today. Everybody in the chat says. I look crazy red because I got sunburned. I got sunburned, man. I went to Atlantic City this weekend. And apparently it was very sunny. And I was walking the boardwalk. I visited my places, my craft beer bars, my beer gardens. And I got fucking burnt just by walking around in 75, 80 degree weather. So it is what it is, man. I'm red. Hopefully I'm not too red on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday when I go live. But I was going to do Off the Script on Saturday like I usually do. Pre-record it, upload it, do what I got to do. Destiny came out with the Vault of Glass. We got in there. It was what they call a challenge mode. It was a huge just level difference from what it usually should be. None of us were prepared for how hard it was going to be. everybody was like, oh, this is the first raid. We'll go into it 2 or 3 hours. We'll come out with some fucking cool shit. We'll call it a day. We spent about 4 fucking hours on one goddamn part because they changed everything as far as the mechanics go. So I was like, all right, I wasted my day. I could have recorded the show. I actually wanted to do the show. I said, you know what? I'll just wait till Sunday. Instead, let's do Vault of Glass on Saturday, and everything got fucked up. Everything got fucked up, man. So it is what it is. You guys are saying I'm redder than Eva Marie. Bro, I got sunburned. Jesus Christ. Give me a fucking break, man. How many times do I tell people to go out and get some sun, man? I'm only following my own advice. Following my own advice, man. So it is what it is. If you can't stand the red, just call me Bruce Pritchard. I love you. Anyway, give me a break, guys. Give me a break. JD Red is better than Brother Love, okay? Anyway, we got a lot to go over today, man. I'm happy to be live here with you. Hopefully, we got more people filtering into the OTS venue. And before we begin anything tonight, I know he gave me the okay to say something. I wouldn't have said anything, and I wasn't planning on saying anything until he gave me the okay, because this is strictly, him, and I'm respecting his privacy. He gave me the okay today. But as you guys know, Jesse and I were supposed to be in Jacksonville for Double or Nothing, and we were going to do the Fan Fest, and I was going to buy him a meet and greet to go meet Thunder Rosa, and hopefully Thunder Rosa would have choked him out. Obviously, I'm kidding about the choking out part. I just wanted him to just get, a nice little ribbing from Thunder Rosa. We were going to do Double or Nothing on Sunday. We were going to do the meet and greets at the Intuition Ale Works, which is still on, by the way. If you guys are going to be in Jacksonville, I will be at the Intuition Ale Works. 5-minute walk from Daly's place. I will be there. Off the script meet and greet. We're going to have some cold beverages. We're going to have some food. We're going to bullshit. And we're going to have a good time. So if you're going to be in the area, I would love for you guys to come hang out. Jesse's not going to be making Jacksonville. Jesse's going to be off the podcast for at least the next couple of weeks, next few weeks. He's going to be off the show until he is absolutely ready to come back. Jesse texted me the other day. His mother had a sudden heart attack, and his mother, unfortunately, passed away early this morning. And Jesse is not coming to Jacksonville. And I don't really know what to say because I love Jesse like a brother. I don't really handle situations like this all too well. So I've been thinking about him for the last 48 hours, ever since he told me and broke the news to me. And I still don't know what to say because I can't even fathom somebody going through that. I don't even know what I would do if I had to go through that similar situation. I've seen people go through that. I just break down internally. I don't know what to say. But all I will say is this. I love him. Everybody here, all the mods, everybody in the chat, everybody that supports Off the Script. I want you guys to leave Jesse in the chat right now. Prayer emojis. Every single one of you. We got 1,000 people filtering on in here, man. 1,000 prayer emojis for Jesse. And if you guys want to reach out to him, you know where to find him on Twitter. But my thoughts and prayers have been with him and his family during this difficult time. And everybody here, I just want to relay from me and everybody in the chat here today that we love him. And we hope that he pulls through this and he will be back on the show soon. He will be missed in Jacksonville for sure. And he will be ready when he's ready. Okay? So everybody here, Hoot Media, we have Hula Grim, all the mods, everybody in the chat right now, and me especially, we love Jesse, and we are wishing him the best through this difficult time. So that's that. I wanted to tell you guys before we got further into the week, Jesse gave me the okay, and that is the news there. So if you guys were anticipating seeing Jesse at Jacksonville, or in Jacksonville rather, at the meet and greet and at Double or Nothing, repping the OTS brand, it's not going to happen. He is just going to be taking some time away from himself. So we love Jesse, and we hope he gets better. But we got a lot to go over here today, guys. We have plenty of news for everybody to indulge in. Obviously, the big one, Velveteen Dream, is released from the WWE. Man, oh man, do I look fucking... I do look red. I didn't realize how sunburned I got, bro. It's amazing. Maybe it's the fucking lighting in here, man. I don't know. But I did get sunburned, and I'm looking at myself right now. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm putting Bruce Pritchard to fucking shame. It's all right. I don't want to have it derail me from what I usually got to do. Velveteen Dream is no longer with the WWE. This was something that was long overdue. This was something that a lot of people have wanted. And when the news broke, a lot of people rejoiced that the Velveteen Dream was not with the WWE any longer. We will be talking about the Velveteen Dream today because news came out about Velveteen Dream that he was incredibly difficult to work with. He had behavioral issues. He had attitude problems backstage in NXT. Some of the roster were actually afraid that with him being off television, WWE was going to make him a trainer at the Performance Center. Instead of being a trainee, he was going to be a trainer at the Performance Center. WWE superstars training there were worried that that was going to happen. And they didn't want that. We're going to talk about Velveteen Dream, what could have been, what should have been, what is never going to be now because he is gone and his career is now finished. Velveteen Dream will never step foot in another promotion ever again. And if he does, that promotion may go under because nobody will ever accept Velveteen Dream again in this industry. We got John Cena news. John Cena. WWE is telling its writers to prepare for John Cena's return. Now, I don't know what that means, but I've been anticipating John Cena's return for a very, very long time. I even advocated for John Cena to come back at WrestleMania and challenge Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. I would have never put it on Bobby Lashley. John Cena challenged Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Chase number 17. We may actually end up getting that, but not on Raw. It may actually happen on SmackDown if WWE wants to be creative. Roman Reigns is the most important thing in this entire company. And you need to abide by what Roman Reigns has done for WWE. Without Roman Reigns, who knows where the ratings on SmackDown would be? Who knows the quality of WWE programming and how terrible it actually would be without Roman Reigns? At least he has been providing us with some hope during the week. He's easily the best thing on television. But Roman Reigns needs opponents. Looks like Roman Reigns is going into Hell in a Cell wrestling Jimmy Uso. It's not really what I call a championship caliber feud for Roman Reigns. So we're going to need to start building championship caliber opponents for Roman Reigns. John Cena definitely fits that bill. We're going to go over that as well today. The NXT releases from this week on top of the Velveteen Dream. We'll go over that, who they are, and why it really doesn't matter because WWE was just cutting dead weight. Everybody made a big deal about the NXT releases. It's not that big of a deal, in my honest opinion. We got news on Double or Nothing. We got news on AEW moving to TBS. We got news on Moose. Is he staying with Impact? Is he signing with AEW? Is he going to NXT? Meltzer reported that Moose re-signed with Impact. Moose came out and said completely untrue. So we will go over all of that right here on Off the Script. This is episode 377 of the number one podcast in the IWC every single week, every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you guys for joining me here today. Follow me on social media at JD from NY 206. That is on Twitter and on Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. You know what? The red is actually starting to bother me. I am going to lower the saturation here. Maybe that helps out. And let's see how good that is. Maybe I look a little bit better. I look a little bit better, you see? Jesus Christ, I still got sunburned. Anyway, follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. If you guys want to go check out all the other videos that you might have missed on the channel, please do so. They are live on the homepage right now. They are all categorized in their own playlists. Go check that out. If you want Monday Night Raw, NXT, AEW, Friday Night SmackDown, we got it all listed right there on the homepage for you, and everything should be done from most recent going backwards. So it's all there on the channel, on the homepage. Make sure you guys check out today's sponsor. We are sponsored today by Dr. Squatch, drsquatch.com. You guys are going to use code SCRIPT at checkout for as a whopping 20% off your entire purchase, man. Every single time you're going to use code SCRIPT, you're going to save some big money. You're going to smell good. You're going to look good. You're going to feel good. I mean, you're already listening to the best, so why not use the best in men's hygiene? That is Dr. Squatch. drsquatch.com. Use code SCRIPT at checkout for 20% off. If you guys want your t-shirts, you could definitely go and do that. Bonfire is the exclusive home of Off the Script and JD from New York. If you guys want to check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/JD from NY206. If you guys want to hit that up, you got some dugout beer mugs with the Off the Script logo carved into a baseball bat. Love it. Looks great. You guys want to go get yourself an exclusive Are We Live t-shirt? That's only available on Patreon. Some nice little perks to sign up for the Patreon page, man. So that's patreon.com/JD from NY206. Anyway, man, we're going to start at the top. WWE and their zombie fetish is still in the news. Now, I don't really want to talk about zombies anymore, but every time I look at something regarding The Miz or Damian Priest or John Morrison, there's the fucking zombie story from WWE Backlash. Dave Bautista's movie came out. I haven't watched it. You ain't gonna catch me dead watching it. I don't give a shit. I'm a big zombie guy, but I'm not watching Army of the Dead. It is now on Netflix. If you guys care at all to go watch Dave Bautista's latest D-level movie. So Backlash, you guys know the story. Damian Priest, The Miz, lumberjack match. Zombies as lumberjacks. Miz got hurt. Miz is now out supposedly for 9 months. But Ringside News is reporting that WWE President Nick Khan, no relation to Tony, spearheaded the sponsorship from Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead film starring Dave Bautista. Now, this was a massive deal for WWE. Ringside News was told that WWE got quote-unquote big money out of the agreement, which saw zombies surround the ring in a lumberjack match, which more than likely, A, embarrassed the company as a whole. So good luck on getting that money, Nick Khan. You just embarrassed the entire company for money that you really didn't need. And number two, you put Damian Priest and The Miz in probably what is going to be the worst wrestling match of the entire year. Army of the Dead. Lumberjacks, zombies, not for me. Apparently it wasn't for anybody else either. In the end, WWE reportedly received 7 figures. They received 7 figures from Warner Brothers Studios to promote zombies as lumberjacks for that Damian Priest and Miz match at Backlash. Now, like I said, WWE was critically panned for bringing in zombies and mixing them in with pro wrestling. Mainstream media also chimed in. I actually did an extra on it. The New York Post noted that many will remember this one for being terrible and a cheap plug of zombies. That might be true, but WWE was still making mega money for their zombie endeavor at Backlash. They used the WWE for promotional purposes. With that lumberjack match, it might have been considered a cheap plug for Army of the Dead, but it cost Warner Brothers a ton of cash to get that much airtime on a WWE pay-per-view. Sadly, The Miz was injured in this fucking disaster during this lumberjack match with Damian Priest. No updates, but apparently he has an ACL injury that reportedly could leave him out of action for up to 9 months. This would be the first major injury in The Miz's WWE career. Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead starring Dave Bautista debuted on Netflix this week. If you guys want to go and watch that, by all means. I look at it and I already say to myself, no thank you. I'm watching enough zombies with catching up on The Walking Dead. WWE made 7 figures with this. I wanted to get the news out there because I found this to be quite laughable. 7 figures, I don't know who's dumber. Warner Brothers for promoting this fucking shit movie that'll probably be dead by the end of the week, or WWE for embarrassing themselves using zombies on pay-per-view and making themselves to be the embarrassment of the industry. You know, good standing with your fans is priceless. How many people did you drive away with this fucking stunt is what I want to know. Is it equivalent to the 7 figures that you got? Because if it is, I don't see how this is a good deal. I really don't. I know if I'm doing something, I'm going to look at it and say, yeah, I want to make some money, but I also want to keep the integrity of my actual fucking product, which right now WWE has 0 of. 7 figures for fucking zombies. Was it worth it? In WWE's eyes, it was. Do they need the fucking money? No. They don't have to say yes to everything. Did anybody think about what was happening? And then the report came out that the match was actually fucking pre-taped, which makes everything fucking worse. Somebody in production watched that and deemed it A-OK to put on pay-per-view. I'd love to see the fucking face and name of that person personally, because clearly they're a bunch of fucking idiots. Match was taped and somebody deemed that okay to actually put it in the show. Unreal. Speaking of Backlash, WWE had original plans for the Wrestlemania Backlash main events. And Ringside News asked around after reports came out that WWE shifted around the WrestleMania Backlash card prior to the show. They were able to confirm that this was indeed the case. Now, they have confirmed that the main event was not always going to be the Universal title match between Roman Reigns and Cesaro. The original main event of the show was initially planned to be the WWE triple threat match between Braun Strowman, whee! Stupid! Braun Strowman! I don't have the train sounds. Listen. Gotta give WWE some credit. They took away the train sounds from Braun Strowman's ring around the Rosie maneuver. The freight train move that he does, the shoulder tackle, they took that away. So I can't really make fun of him anymore. Who am I kidding? I'm still going to make fun of Braun Strowman until the day he retires, man. The guy sucks. The guy sucks. I was actually in Atlantic City, like I told you before, and my brother asks me from time to time how the podcast is going, and, he watches on and off. And, Braun Strowman came up in discussion. He's like, what's the newest skit that you're doing? Well, I tell him, I've been doing the Braun Strowman thing, because everybody makes him look like a fucking idiot. And then he tells me, and he doesn't even watch on a weekly basis. He knows, but he doesn't watch on a weekly basis. He said, my God, what happened to Braun Strowman? The guy was so fucking cool. They ruined his character. He's a fucking jobber now. 1 week he was throwing Roman Reigns off a goddamn, gurney off of a platform, flipping ambulances and destroying shit. Everything was cool. And then WWE botched his booking, and now he is what he is right now. He sucks. There's no interest in Braun Strowman. He legitimately is a 7-foot jobber. You look at him, he makes nothing legit. You look at him, he's a comedy show. You're not going to put him in a match because the match is going to be below fucking standard for what a pro wrestling match should be. He's not a caliber world champion athlete. Maybe he would have been if WWE booked him correctly, but he's not. I don't believe how you could take somebody like that and the meteoric rise that he was on, fucking creatively book him the way that he's been booked for the last 3 years, and this is the result of what you get. That must mean that either A, WWE just fucking relishes in the fact that they take somebody that's mega over and loves ruining them, or Braun Strowman was never a big deal to begin with. I'm going to take option A and B on that one. I think WWE takes great pride in ruining characters that they have be mega popular, and they feel like they need to break everybody down and rebuild them back up in their own image, in Vince McMahon's image. What was wrong with the old Braun Strowman? Look at what they did to The Fiend. Look at what they did with Aleister Black. Look at what they did with Ricochet. Look at what they did with Andrade. Look at what they did with Angel Garza. Look at what they're doing with Keith Lee. The man is crying out for help on social media. Nobody knows where the fuck he is. Anyway, I don't know how I got to talking about Braun Strowman. We got triple threat. WWE had planned for that to be the main event of Backlash. Strowman, Lashley, and McIntyre. But I don't see how that could be looked at as a main event when Roman Reigns is on your show. I don't give a fuck who's on the show. I don't give a shit what storyline is better. Roman Reigns is the biggest act in the company. Roman Reigns should be the main event of every show that he is a part of. That's it. End of discussion. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. WWE could book Drew McIntyre and whomever the fuck he's going to be wrestling, Bobby Lashley. It could be the best thing on television. But nothing anybody does is going to even come close to what Roman Reigns has done. Roman Reigns is the main event. Simple. I don't know why anything would be a discussion for being a main event. Roman Reigns is there, that's it. Without even breathing, Roman Reigns is in the main event. Simple. Why WWE switched around their pay-per-view schedule to include Hell in a Cell in June instead of October. Now, I don't know what's filling October's month. WWE may go to Saudi Arabia in October for all we know. I don't know. But WWE switched their pay-per-view calendar around. We got Hell in a Cell in June, Money in the Bank in July. Now, Hell in a Cell will be the final pay-per-view before WWE goes back out on tour in front of fans. Money in the Bank will be happening on Father's Day this year, and it will be in front of a full audience, which is great. I can't wait. It's going to be a big deal. But why did WWE switch Hell in a Cell from October to June? A lot of fans were surprised when they watched Backlash to see that Hell in a Cell was announced for June and not around Halloween time in October. The news was quickly followed by a report that Money in the Bank, like I mentioned, will take place in July with live fans. There's a reason why WWE made this decision and why they made this swap of pay-per-views. And according to the Wrestling Observer and Dave Meltzer explained WWE's reasoning for wanting to save their fourth biggest show of the year simply to have it happen in front of fans. That was it. He says, and I quote, I guess the mentality would be that Money in the Bank is the number 4 or number 5 draw most years. So I think that the mentality is that if we got the show with fans to make sure that it is the first pay-per-view in front of fans, can no upset our schedule and move SummerSlam to July. We can do that to not upset our schedule and move SummerSlam to July. That's what he said. I don't get that last part, but it is what it is. He's pretty much saying that WWE moved Money in the Bank to July. It was supposed to happen in June. They moved Hell in a Cell from October to June. They felt like Money in the Bank would be better in front of fans than anything else, instead of doing an Extreme Rules or another D-level pay-per-view that probably would have been slotted in July. We don't know what it would have been. Might have been Extreme Rules for all we know. But the real reason WWE, that may be the real reason WWE moved Hell in a Cell from October to July, or June rather, and then Money in the Bank in July. But the real reason is, and it worked out in WWE's favor. This gives WWE the opportunity to do Hell in a Cell in June and really play up the fact of the Roman Reigns Uso storyline. Because if you guys remember, Hell in a Cell back in October, it was Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns. and that was for the Universal Championship. Jey Uso learned his lesson. Jimmy Uso was also in that match, and he came out and he did what he had to do to try and save his cousin. Roman Reigns used Jimmy in that instance to, I guess, trick both Usos. Sympathetic assassin, I would say, is Roman Reigns. He preyed on Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso's just sympathy for one another, and he taught them a lesson. So it is what it is. Jey Uso and Roman Reigns happened inside Hell in a Cell. Jey Uso learned his lesson. Now we're getting Hell in a Cell in June, and all signs point to Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns inside Hell in a Cell, and Jimmy Uso going through the same thing that Jey Uso did to fall in line and acknowledge Roman Reigns. So I'm okay with this. I really am. Money in the Bank in front of fans? I'd much rather have Money in the Bank instead of Extreme Rules in front of a live paying audience, possibly at full capacity. So WWE actually did the right thing. Now, what happens to October? What does WWE do in October? Everybody's like, oh, WWE should do Halloween Havoc. They're not doing Halloween Havoc. Vince McMahon had the opportunity to use Halloween Havoc for years and opted not to do it. NXT used the Halloween Havoc gimmick, so clearly there was no trademark or copyright issue with the Halloween Havoc theme because NXT used it as a way to combat AEW on one of the most recent Wednesday Night Wars that they did back in 2020. So if Vince McMahon wanted to use Halloween Havoc, he would have used it already. So it's not going to happen. WWE may actually end up saving October to take the roster back to Saudi Arabia. That's what I feel is going to happen. What are you going to slot into the October pay-per-view schedule? I wouldn't just do another pay-per-view and then do Saudi Arabia and then right into Survivor Series. I think it muddies everything up. I think WWE saves October strictly for Saudi Arabia at a Super Showdown or a Crown Jewel or something along those lines. Because there was news this week that WWE is actually going to likely return to Saudi Arabia this year. Meltzer talked about this as well on The Observer. Now, he mentioned a boxing fight between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua happening on August 14th in Saudi Arabia. He said the country having this big boxing event means WWE is likely to return to Saudi Arabia later this year. Meltzer said this, and I quote, "The big thing with them is that their date looks like August 14th, and it's in Saudi Arabia. So if Saudi Arabia is willing to bring them in, then that means they are going to bring WWE in before the end of the year." That's not been said. It's not confirmed, but the only reason they haven't been in Saudi Arabia is because of the pandemic, end quote. As you guys know, WWE has a 10-year partnership with Saudi Arabia and the sports authority over there, and the company's being paid big money to host 2 events per year in that country. Typically, WWE holds a new show in October or November, so that is when we could possibly see WWE with them moving Hell in a Cell to June. That leaves October open. We could see that October event, that pay-per-view event, be a Super Showdown or a Crown Jewel Saudi show. Now, what I'm afraid of is all over again, we got to get Bill Goldberg back on television. We got to get all the big major legends back. Let's roll out Edge. Let's try and convince The Undertaker to come out of retirement, Let's get John Cena back on TV. The Saudi Arabian government's going to want all these big names. They're not just going to settle for Mansoor or Mustafa Ali or Cesaro or Sheamus. They're going to want the big names. So you're going to be getting your Bill Goldbergs, your fucking formulaic Bill Goldberg feud, comes out and challenges somebody for a world championship. You're next. Yeah, and so are my bowel movements watching Bill Goldberg on fucking television. So you got to take the good with the bad. Actually, got to take the bad with the bad. None of these shows have been good, ever. WWE and their fucking greediness continuing to ruin WWE shows on a yearly basis. So that's exactly what's going to happen. That's my prediction there. If it ends up changing and WWE does a regular pay-per-view, Saudi, and then Survivor Series, it's too much. It's too much. Quantity over quality is the company's mentality. In my eyes, I think quality should trump quantity. But speaking like this, it makes sense. WWE, they do the opposite all the time. John Cena. Let's talk John Cena. He will be back sooner rather than later. John Cena's name has been brought up in creative. He may be returning to the WWE soon. Dave Meltzer talked about this on The Observer this week. Cena's return is being discussed, so there is merit to the rumors. Now, obviously, Meltzer is not right all the time, but with John Cena's name being brought up more and more, with WWE getting back in front of fans, his name was obviously being thrown around for WrestleMania. There is an agreement between WWE and John Cena that he would be brought back when fans are back in attendance. John Cena has publicly stated that he wants to be back in WWE as well, and he's excited to get back to work once his Hollywood schedule dies down a bit. The July 16th SmackDown will be WWE's first full show with full fans in attendance since the start of the pandemic. And with Fox pushing WWE to welcome crowds back, there is also pressure to deliver a bigger than normal rating. Now, Fox, they were wondering when WWE was going to get back to having full attendance, live human beings at their shows on a weekly basis. They want a return on their investment. With MLB, NHL, the NBA, NFL in September, I'm assuming everybody in all these major sports leagues that are getting back to business, WWE and all these other major promotions, Impact, Ring of Honor, they don't have fans. WWE doesn't have fans. AEW has had some semblance of fans, but at Double or Nothing, that's going to change because AEW, after Double or Nothing, 5,500 people for Double or Nothing on May 30th, Jacksonville, Florida, Daly's Place. Then they're going to go back out on the road in July, and they will be moving out of Daly's Place as they get through June. They're going to be in Miami. They're going to be in Texas. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. But Fox wanted to know when WWE was going back on the road. So they pushed WWE to find venues because they want WWE on TV with fans in attendance. So it was a major push by Fox to get that done. And that was coming from WrestleVotes on Twitter. But with the July 16th episode being the first show of the pandemic era outside of WrestleMania with full fans in attendance, WWE, Fox, they want a big draw. They want a big deal. So there's pressure to deliver a big show. Bringing back a big name like John Cena will definitely add the type of buzz that Fox wants. WWE announced this week that they will be returning to a 25-city tour to celebrate the return of fans to their shows. The 3 dates and cities confirmed so far: 7/16 in Houston, 7/18 in Fort Worth, Texas, and Money in the Bank on 7/19 for Dallas. And that's a Monday Night Raw. I'm sorry, I got that backwards. 7/16 for Houston, 7/18 for Money in the Bank, and 7/19 for Dallas and Money in the Bank, for Monday Night Raw. So we got Texas, and they are going to be hosting WWE for July as they get back out on the road. Now, it's widely believed that Reliant Stadium in Las Vegas will host SummerSlam in August. Now, that's going to be hot as balls. WWE wants to make SummerSlam a big deal, as it is their second biggest show of the year, and they want to fill a stadium like Reliant Stadium, if they could, 60,000 plus for SummerSlam. I think that would be great. If they could pull it off, great. But you have to have a card to accompany that 60,000 plus in attendance. You just can't half-ass a fucking show like you did at WrestleMania. So hopefully WWE has some plans for SummerSlam going into August. But the 3 tours, or the 3 cities rather, Houston, Fort Worth, and Dallas, I mentioned this before. WWE is getting back on the road 1 week after AEW goes out on tour. Is it part of the AEW effect? Absolutely. AEW effect is still real. WWE, they may tell you that they're not bothered by AEW going out on the road and going back to fans in full capacity, but of course they're bothered. Everything AEW does, WWE's bothered by it. So when people say, oh, it's not anything to do with the AEW effect, it absolutely is. Because why would WWE, who had all these plans to go back on tour after SummerSlam, all of a sudden push everything up to July. Was WWE really just listening to Fox? Or was WWE saying, yeah, we have to do it? Because they've stayed away so far from fans. Now, all of a sudden, Fox wants people to go back out there. It's a part of the AEW effect. WWE might not have been in charge of getting their product back in front of fans. It might have been a 100% push from Fox. But where do you think Fox got the idea? They have wrestling on their program. Why are all these other wrestling promotions, why are they getting back in front of fans? Why doesn't WWE have any fucking fans? You don't think AEW drew the attention of Fox? Of course they did. 5,500 people out of fucking pay-per-views, nothing to scoff at. Everybody knows. Then they announce a big tour. It goes viral on social media. Oh my God. All of a sudden you see WWE back out on tour. So clearly the AEW effect is still real. John Cena. What do you do with John Cena? Is he coming back? Is he not coming back? Do you care? Do you want to see him back? Do you hate him? After all these years, still hate him? John Cena being back, I've always said it. Roman Reigns is quickly taking that number one spot. He may be the number one active pro wrestler on the roster right now for WWE, but John Cena, to me, will always be the face of the company until he formally retires, to be quite honest with you. John Cena, he is still so valuable to this company. He is mega important. He's still young enough to still go. He still has that aura about him that will generate interest, that will create interest. And if you don't agree with that, you may be a dumb motherfucker, to be brutally honest with you. John Cena is going to draw eyeballs because nobody since John Cena has left has been built up to be the next John Cena. And I'm including Roman Reigns in that. WWE finally got Roman Reigns right after 7 fucking years. Finally. So John Cena is and still is, will always be, until he retires for good, the face of WWE. Nobody has been able to do what John Cena has been able to do since he left. No matter how good Roman Reigns has been. What do you do with John Cena? John Cena clearly did not want to return in front of virtual geeks on screens inside the Thunderdome. John Cena, if he wanted to come back, would definitely have to be in front of fans. That's a big deal. Not only for John Cena, but for WWE. Not only for WWE, but for Fox. John Cena being back is a big deal. He wants to be back in front of live human beings. He wants to be back when something is presented to him that has meaning and when something presented to him has importance. John Cena wants to be back in the middle of something important. What is the only thing on WWE television that is important? Roman Reigns and the Universal Championship. That is it. John Cena's coming back, and finally we're getting number 17. I made a couple of pitches for Roman Reigns and what he should be doing at SummerSlam. I mentioned Seth Rollins. I'm not for it, but WWE certainly could be leading us to a Rollins and Reigns SummerSlam match. That is the worst of the ideas. Nobody wants to see Rollins and Reigns in the ring again, especially this boring version of Rollins. It may end up turning Reigns into a babyface. Nobody wants it. Rollins is not at that level anymore. He took a big hit with the Messiah gimmick, a big hit in feuding with Rey Mysterio for about 13 months. Nothing came of it. It was fucking garbage. Then he took time off because his wife had a kid, and now he's back. He's in the role of putting people over. That's it. I don't look at Rollins as a world title guy anymore. Those years have passed. So Rollins being in the main event, he ain't winning the championship, and I would have absolutely no interest in whatever story they tell me. I think it's a wash for a SummerSlam match with Reigns. I mentioned Finn Balor. Finn Balor's more than likely going to lose to Karrion Kross on Tuesday night. I've seen stranger things happen. For all I know, Karrion Kross can lose and then go up to the main roster. Maybe he is going to Monday Night Raw to challenge Drew McIntyre. I have no idea. I don't know what anybody's doing nowadays, man. We've seen Rick Bugenhagen show up on SmackDown, man. They could call up anybody anytime they want. I pitched for Finn Balor to lose to Cross, get demoted to SmackDown, and then feud with Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Finn Balor has been one of those very few guys that has held the Universal Championship. He's got some history with Roman Reigns. I think it'd be a great match. I think that's a SummerSlam main event I could get behind. Because what else is Finn Balor going to do in NXT when he loses to Karrion Kross on Tuesday night as he goes for that NXT Championship again? A match with Balor and Reigns sounds pretty damn good to me. Or maybe he goes to Monday Night Raw and challenges Drew McIntyre. I like the Reigns idea better. But if Balor doesn't get Reigns, goes to Raw, and does the McIntyre thing, I can get behind that because then that saves Roman Reigns for John Cena. Because Drew McIntyre has no baby faces, or heels, I should say, on that roster. There's no baby faces in that division either. The World Championship title picture. There's no baby faces outside Drew McIntyre. Kofi Kingston is the only one, and they put him in that position because, like I said, there's no baby faces. At this point, I don't give a fuck. I just want good wrestling matches that really are WWE Championship worthy. So if you give me Balor and McIntyre, I'm not going to really complain about that. I think that could be a great match for SummerSlam. So that leaves Reigns and Cena for SummerSlam. John Cena challenging Reigns going after number 17. They have a history. Roman Reigns is the tribal chief, the head of the table. That's John Cena's spot. That is John Cena's spot. I just got done telling you, John Cena is still the face of the company. What would it make Roman Reigns feel like and look like if he beats the face of the company? Everybody still wants John Cena back. Everybody still looks at John Cena as the face of the company. Can you imagine Reigns beating Cena and stopping that attempt at number 17, and then Reigns sends Cena into semi-retirement finally? I think it's great. And then the promo work between the two. You thought the promo work for John Cena and Reigns the first time around was good. Reigns not so much because he sucked. But look at him now. John Cena carried that entire feud when they wrestled back at No Mercy. That's when Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar had their one-on-one match for the WWE Championship. That was the double main event for that show. So, if John Cena's back with Roman Reigns this time around, can you imagine how different it's going to be, sound, and feel like with Reigns in this current heel position? That is captivating television, if you ask me, man. And nobody expects John Cena to regain the WWE Universal Championship or get number 17. But there's always a little doubt in everybody's mind when it comes to John Cena. Always. Even when he has been semi-retired. John Cena going after number 17, there's always that little shadow of doubt when it comes to him. Is he going to do it? Would WWE take the belt off of Reigns and put it on Cena just because it's number 17? I think it's great. So if you have SummerSlam shape up to be Reigns and Cena, then you could do Balor McIntyre, save Seth Rollins for Edge. That's been rumored for years now. I think that would be great. Maybe Daniel Bryan comes back. He resigns with the company. Maybe they do Bryan versus Edge. No clue. But WWE could have a major SummerSlam on their hands if they book it right. Then you add Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. You could do a rematch from WrestleMania at SummerSlam. That really hasn't happened many times in WWE history where they main event WrestleMania, but they also main event SummerSlam. They could fall into a nice little category all unto themselves, especially in the women's division. WWE could have a great SummerSlam on their hands, and John Cena could chase number 17. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I've wanted it to happen because I'm a sucker for good storytelling, man. I'm a sucker for John Cena because, you know, when John Cena has gone away, ever since he has gone away and has been gone, we don't get that type of character on TV anymore. We don't get that type of guy that commands attention like that. We don't get that type of guy that cuts a promo like John Cena does. We don't get that type of guy that brings a level of importance and legitimacy to everything he does. Why is JD advocating so big for John Cena? He's always been the type of guy to want these types of WWE superstars to stay away because they take spots away from the young guys. I'm not an idiot. Why am I still advocating for the young guys when WWE doesn't advocate for the young guys? They don't push who they should push. They haven't built up any new stars. Who am I fucking fighting for? Why am I here fighting for the Ricochets and the Garzas and the Keith Lees? Why? They don't get pushed. Nothing I say is gonna fucking matter. Just give me some good fucking storytelling. Give me a fucking pro wrestling program with a sense of legitimacy. John Cena brings that. Give me a storyline with a level of importance to it where it gets me to watch on a weekly basis and I fucking care. That's what I want. That's what you should want too. You watch 5 hours of WWE programming between Raw and SmackDown every week. How much of it do you fucking care about? None of it outside of Roman Reigns. And some of you people don't even care about that. Oh, he's boring. Oh, it's the same shit over and over again. Oh, he's overrated. That's all I want. Ever since he's left, nobody's been able to fill his shoes. So what does that say? I think everybody should be in agreement that John Cena, obviously what he has is sorely missed. When he's gone, you appreciate what he is more and more every single fucking time. The guy's a legend. He's one of the greatest of all time. Whether you agree with that or not, I don't give a fuck, because he is. I was a John Cena hater. I was a Roman Reigns hater for 6 fucking years. I've been advocating, you gotta make him heel. What happened? Where others said it and then they died off on it, they didn't push it. How many content creators in this community pushed it for him to be heel? Every single time I saw Reigns on television, I said it. It needs to happen. Oh, JD's a hater. Oh, he hates Joseph Anawai. Oh, he said his cancer is fake. All this shit. When all I wanted was the Roman Reigns character to be booked exactly the way you're seeing it now. I was a Roman Reigns hater. I appreciate him more now than I ever could possibly appreciate him. Same thing with John Cena. I was against John Cena. In fact, a fun fact about me that you guys probably don't know about, John Cena forced me to stop watching the fucking product. Way back in the day when they started pushing him like an unstoppable Hulk Hogan. I stopped watching the product because of John Cena. But now I look back at that and I look at John Cena now, saw what he did with the US title, saw what he does when he comes back and he just makes everything feel important. I appreciate him and what he has now because we don't have any of that on current WWE programming. You guys need to start appreciating John Cena. Because until WWE gets with the fucking program and starts building the next John Cena, all we have left is John Cena. Check the chat, man. Let's check the chat. We got 1,400 inside the OTS venue. Thank you so very much for hanging out with me today. Got 597 likes on the stream. The goal today, guys, is 1,000. 1,000 on the live stream. Let's try and get 1,000 likes on OTS today while we're live on YouTube. Super chats are open. Get them on in. We'll hang out at the end of the show like we usually do. And we will have some fun with that. Also, want to make sure you guys are aware today's show is sponsored by Dr. Squatch. DrSquatch.com. You guys are going to use code SCRIPTS at checkout for 20% off. Love me some Dr. Squatch, and I would not be pushing it every week if I didn't use it and believe in it. Trust me. It's fucking awesome. DrSquatch.com. Use code SCRIPT at checkout. NXT, man. I know you guys don't care about NXT, but major news came out of WWE this week. Several roster cuts, including a WWE referee. Alexander Wolf, Skylar Story, a.k.a. Brandy Lauren, Kavita Devi, and Ezra Judge, Jessamine Duke, and Vanessa Bourne no longer with the WWE. These are the men and women that were released this week from NXT. Alexander Wolf, he was kicked out of Imperium on Tuesday's episode of NXT. We come to find this week that he was released from the company. The one I was shocked about the most was Skylar Story, a.k.a. Brandy Lauren. First of all, I watched Brandy Lauren work. She wasn't bad at all. I watched her work and evolve. I went to a couple of shows that involved Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin, Roderick Strong. There was a Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano meet and greet when NXT was sending NXT talents to Evolve shows just to kind of boost their ticket sales because there was a working relationship there. Austin Theory was another one. JD Drake was another one. There was a ton of talent that you're seeing now kind of spread out across NXT. I saw her work, and I'm like, she's not bad at all. She's got a great look, and she is not bad in the ring. They changed her name. That was the one I was probably most shocked by because she never received any opportunity. There was no TV time there. They gave her a new name, a new persona, and then they ended up releasing her without even having her appear on one television show. So how do you know what you got if you don't really give her the opportunity to show you? So she got released. Now she's on social media, and she is doing what she's got to do to get by. Photos, she's got a Patreon. She'll probably be picked up by somebody. I could see her being picked up by an Impact or a Ring of Honor. I mean, WWE just let her go without giving her an opportunity. So that was the one I was most shocked by. Alexander Wolf, I don't really know what happened there. According to sources, his contract was due up anyway, and he was told that WWE would not be renewing it, so they let him out of his contract early. I could see him end up in Impact. That's where most of these guys usually go, like Alexander Wolf. I could see him joining Eric Young again on Impact Wrestling. Kavita Devi, don't really know much about her. I know she was in a couple of Mae Young Classics. I didn't really see anything there that stuck out to me. Jessamine Duke, I mean, let's be real. The 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen thing, that was a pipe dream. It was Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Bayley. I'm sorry. Sorry to disrespect Bayley. I got their match in my mind, Bianca Belair and Bayley. Bayley, Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha. And that was just a pipe dream in everybody's mind. Oh, we got Ronda Rousey's horsewomen versus the horsewomen of WWE. That was never going to happen. First of all, the WWE horsewomen are at completely different stages of their career. I could never see Becky, Bayley, Sasha, and Charlotte all on the same page ever again. There's just too much ego there, you know? They're all in different aspects of their career. Then you got Ronda. She is not even with the company anymore. She's out pregnant. Who knows if she comes back? WWE has teased her coming back. Jessamine Duke, she never came along. Marina Shafir, she was never coming along. So it's almost as if WWE, you know, they just let the dead weight go. And every time we seen Jessamine Duke on TV, she was never a big deal anyway. She was very green. She never got better from what I saw. Marina Shafir, the same thing. You got Vanessa Bourne. Vanessa Bourne was demoted to Monday Night Raw. When Paul Heyman was still there, Paul Heyman wanted to use her on Monday Night Raw. Never used. Never used at all. WWE just sat on Vanessa Bourne for many months, and nothing came of it. Ended up being released. I don't know why. Maybe there was no progress there. None at all. I know when I saw her on TV, there was nothing stand out about Vanessa Bourne. She looked like all these other cookie-cutter women that come out of the Performance Center. All look and no substance. Every one of these moves was a dead weight release. None of these men and women are going to make an impact to WWE at any point in their career. I don't like to see people lose their job, but WWE's got to do what they got to do as far as the company goes, and they needed to cut the payroll, and they needed to cut the debt weight. That's it. So I feel sorry for anybody losing their job, but you got to look at it from WWE's point of view. They weren't being used, and they might want to save some money. They want to accumulate more money to sign somebody who is a bigger name on the free agents that may come in their eye shot, and they might want to bring them into NXT, which I got news on. They're looking at a couple of highly touted free agents. They've been scouring AEW Dark. They are promoting AEW Dark, WWE, as their number one hub to sign up. We got to get him up. We got to get her. That's it. They physically have somebody watching Dark and reaching out to these men and women that they want to bring in to take away from AEW. WWE uses Dark more than AEW uses Dark. So these NXT stars were released by the company on Wednesday. According to PW Insider, Sean Ross Sapp was the first to report of Alexander Wolf's departure. Killian Dane, like I said, defeated Wolf in a quick squash match on Tuesday rather, and Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner kicked out Wolf after attacking him. He is no longer with Imperium. Wolf signed with the WWE in 2015. He was paired up with Sanity. Remember them? Eric Young, Nikki Cross, Killian Dane. Very good group in NXT that died immediately on the main roster. During the 2018 Superstar Shakeup, the group, except for Cross, was called up to the main roster. Wolf was later moved to NXT UK, paired with Imperium, which is obviously led by NXT UK champion Walter. Skylar Story, she worked for Evolve. Judge, Ezra Judge, real name E.J. Duca Jr., was signed in August of 2019 after being an arena football player and professional bodybuilder for the IFBB. Kavita Devi worked the first Mae Young Classic in 2017 before being signed to WWE in 2018. Jessamine Duke and Vanessa Bourne are no longer with the company. They were released as well. Duke, who was an MMA fighter and held a pro record of 3 wins, 5 losses, and 1 draw, signed with WWE in 2018. She was a part of the MMA 4 Horsewomen group alongside Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, and Marina Shafir. Her last match in NXT came back in December of 2019, where she lost a 6-woman tag team match at a live event. She was last used on TV during the August 31st, 2020 edition of Raw to work a Raw Underground segment. Vanessa Bourne signed with WWE back in 2016 and worked in NXT primarily. In January 2020, it was reported that WWE had plans to call her up to the main roster. Paul Heyman wanted her on Raw. Those plans were canceled when Paul Heyman was removed as executive director of Monday Night Raw. He exits, in comes Bruce Pritchard. Bruce Pritchard wants nothing to do with any of the plans that Paul Heyman wanted on Raw because more than likely everything that Paul Heyman wanted was better than what Bruce was going to offer on Monday night. That's the talent. Like I said, none of them were impact players. None of them. They were not difference makers. We could feel bad about them losing their job. Like I said, the one that sticks out the most to me is Skylar Story. If you guys go look at Ezra Judge, I'm surprised they let him go based on what he looks like. WWE would have a field day with that type of guy. Now, I don't know if it's a situation with him just not grasping the concept of pro wrestling as quick as they wanted, but a guy like that to be let go, man, if he is at all good, just minimally, I could see him being picked up by somebody, man. Go and Google Ezra Judge, WWE. Go look at what this guy looks. He looks like a Greek god. I don't really understand why he was let go of all these men. Skylar Story for the women. I don't know why they would let her go. She didn't do anything. Drake Wuertz, senior official of WWE NXT. He was reportedly let go, but Drake had major heat in WWE backstage. He was reportedly almost beat up. He walked out of a Triple H meeting about inclusion. Triple H was talking about Black Lives Matter. Drake went on to scream inside the meeting that all lives matter. He had nuclear heat backstage in WWE. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this guy, but this is a situation of somebody just being fucking stupid. And Drake Wuertz was fucking stupid. The news about Drake Wuertz firing from WWE did not come as a surprise to the people that were around him. Fightful reports that Wuertz had nuclear heat brought on by himself after he was warned by WWE about attending events without a mask. So there were said to be attempts for political plays where he tried for positions in WWE and he tried to position himself for certain roles in the company. The word going around is that he was willing to put heat on others several times in order to get what he wanted. It was also reported that there was an issue with Ezra Judge, and it almost got physical with Wuertz. And there were numerous instances where NXT higher-ups were alerted to issues that Wuertz had with people of color. That may end up being one of the reasons why Ezra Judge was released. So I have no idea what happened there. So there was also said to have been some heat on Wuertz backstage at last year's NXT TakeOver in Your House, as Triple H gave a speech about Black Lives Matter. Triple H talked about all people of different races and religions being welcomed, and once religions were mentioned, Wuertz aggressively gathered his stuff and left. He left the meeting, walked out of Triple H's Black Lives Matter meeting. Several wrestlers in the company have stated that they felt uncomfortable around Wuertz. Among other things, apparently he was not wanted to referee matches. Several of the roster said, who's refereeing my match? If it's Drake Wuertz, I don't want it, change it. They wouldn't even work matches that he was refereeing. Wuertz also said that he was very critical of wrestlers getting the COVID-19 vaccine, even simple flu shots. This guy had major heat on him in every facet of WWE and NXT. All I will say is this, man. If you are, and Road Dogg got in some hot water as well as of today, I saw on social media. He was talking about Demi Lovato, I believe it was, about how she came out as non-binary. I don't know anything about non-binary. I don't meddle in this fucking political bullshit on social media. But he came out and said something on Facebook. Somebody screenshotted it. It went viral on Twitter. Now he's in fucking hot water. He had to delete his fucking Facebook post. It's ridiculous. So what I'm about to tell you goes for Road Dogg and Drake Wuertz and anybody else in WWE. If you are an employee with WWE where you have all races and religions and beliefs, okay? Don't be a Drake Wuertz, ever. When you get to work, you leave that shit at the door. When you get to work, you abide by everybody, see everybody as an equal, you abide by the company rules, and you leave everything that you feel at the fucking door. You come, you do your job. If you want to be a part of the WWE family, if you want to be a part of what they're doing, then you have to abide by what they do and follow the rules given to you by management. Leave the shit at the door. What you do behind closed doors in your own home is something else. You come to work, that is WWE's home. If you put a bad name on the company, then they have every right to fuck you up. They have every right to let you go, fire you. Can't be going to work and screaming about fucking being a vaccination or non-vaxxer. Can't go to work and be talking about all lives matter when Black Lives Matter. Can't be walking out of Triple H meetings when he's talking about religions and all mixes of race in the company. I mean, what are you, fucking stupid? If you don't want to be there, quit. Simple. He put himself in a position to now, if he wants to be in the business, nobody's ever going to look at him. He was a great referee. Nobody's ever going to fucking hire him. Leave the shit at the door. For Road Dogg, why are you saying anything on social media? Once it hits social media, it lives on forever. Nobody will forget anything. If Road Dogg wants to talk about that after he fucking leaves pro wrestling, then by all means, nobody gives a fuck about Road Dogg after pro wrestling. Go and spew your bullshit somewhere else. Nobody gives a fuck about him at that point. But with Road Dogg, I guess a heart attack wasn't enough to snap some fucking sense into him. Can't be going on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and saying some stupid shit that you know is going to nail you in hot water. You're a part of Triple H's management team. Anything that you do is a reflection on him. Don't you give a fuck about your buddy? Don't you care about your colleagues that sit with you at every show in Gorilla? For every creative writer that you work with? For all the talent that you work with? What if they feel the same way as Demi Lovato? It's ridiculous. And you could feel however you feel. You could feel however you want to feel. I could feel however I want to feel. But I know better not to spew bullshit on social media. Save that shit for yourself and yourself only. So Drake Wuertz fucked himself over. Was it worth it? I don't know. Does he want to be back in pro wrestling? He's never going to get hired again. It's all over for him. Same thing with Velveteen Dream. Same thing with the Velveteen Dream, man. Velveteen Dream was released by WWE this week, better known as Patrick Clark. He was released by WWE. PW Insider first reported this story this week on his release. It was picked up by almost every major outlet thereafter. Velveteen Dream was considered one of the major future pieces of this company. At such a young age, he was so good already. He wasn't even 24 years old, and people were already talking about the major Wrestlemania main event potential that this guy had. Patrick Clark was on his way to superstardom. He was considered one of the biggest standouts in all of NXT, probably NXT history. And the belief was that he was going to be given the chance to be among the top stars in the company when he moved to the main roster eventually. But things that happened outside the ring slowed his momentum and all but ruined his career trajectory. Last year, Dream was accused of sending inappropriate messages to underage children. To date, we have not heard anything about these charges related to the accusations. WWE stood by him, even brought him back to television. They had him feud with Kushida. They had him go after the North American title after all these accusations were brought upon him. He was backstage at Raw a couple of weeks ago, but there was no mention of why he was there. People were worried that he was going to be brought to Raw because he was backstage during a recent taping to meet with Vince McMahon. Maybe the meeting was, we're going to let you go, and we're going to announce it in a couple of weeks. I'm sad to see you go, but we got no choice, and you put us in a very shitty predicament here. According to Fightful Select, Velveteen Dream hadn't showed up at the PC. There hadn't been situations at all where he was backstage at NXT, at the Performance Center. There was growing concern within the company that NXT was even setting him up to coach classes for the developmental talent. He had been coming to open rings thereafter, and with the coaching classes and the concerns of him coaching, I don't know if that would have went over well either. I don't think he was really wanted by anybody, fans and roster alike. I don't know who wanted to work with him after finding out that information. The fans clearly were booing him when he came back. He never looked the same. It almost looked like he didn't even want to be there. He was never the same. He came out looking very generic. Velveteen Dream was always flamboyant. He was always colorful. He came out looking like he was ready for a fucking street fight. it was not the same Dream. He looked like a bum, almost. He came out looking like a jobber when they brought him back to go one-on-one with Kushida, and they brought him back to do the North American Championship ladder match last year at one of the TakeOver shows. He was never the same. It is reported that Canyon Seaman emailed I don't know who this person is. He's probably a WWE official. Emailed everyone in WWE around 4:45 p.m. to deliver the news that Velveteen Dream was released. He is currently on a 30-day non-compete clause like everyone else who was released from this week's NXT roster. So it's currently a situation where he's got a 30-day non-compete. He's got a forever non-compete. He'll never be picked up by a wrestling company ever again. During Wrestling Observer Live, Bryan Alvarez opened up about what he knew concerning Velveteen Dream's release. He disclosed behavioral issues that also included a time that he went to an Evolve event and did not represent the company well at all. Alvarez then said that there were likely far more instances of Velveteen Dream having behavior issues, but people remained quiet. Why were they quiet? Because he was always the glimmer of Shawn Michaels' eye. He was always the glimmer of Triple H's eye. He was a management favorite. And if anybody, I feel, spoke out against him, then they may be doing themselves harm. That's what happens when there's political bullshit happening backstage. If someone is mega over with management, then that person can do no wrong. But if you speak out against it, then they may look at you as either jealous or you're not here for the growth of the company. We're putting our faith and our hope and dream, and you're not on board. You're not a team player. So they remain quiet about it. They remain quiet about it just to save their own ass. He had some pull with NXT management. That was exactly where I was going there. And that caused some to forget about turning Velveteen Dream in for whatever he was doing wrong. Bryan Alvarez says, and I quote, "For whatever reason, WWE clearly believes that he didn't do anything. So that's it. So why was he fired? Like I said, I don't know. But I do know this. There were a lot of problems with Velveteen Dream that didn't have anything to do with the accusations." End quote. There were behavior problems with Velveteen and Triple H. He didn't go into a lot of detail, but when Velveteen Dream was off television, Triple H said it was the result of a car accident. Was it the car accident? I don't know. But I do know that if you follow the career, the on-screen career of Velveteen Dream, how many times was Velveteen Dream featured and he just vanished for an extended period of time? It happened all the time. The impression I've been given is the reason he was regularly vanishing from extended periods of TV was due to outside of the ring issues, whatever those might be. At some point, what can you do with the guy? He had friends very, very high up, obviously, so there were issues that some people didn't feel comfortable going to management about because he was close with management. I heard about behavior issues when he was in NXT. I heard issues when he went other places, whether it be Evolve or whatever. There was a lot going on with the Velveteen Dream. Now, after all of this happened and his release was official, clearly you got people coming out, rejoicing that he's gone. The social media police were all in fucking parade that Velveteen Dream was released. Then you got Rob Schamberger, an artist who paints wrestlers for WWE. His work was featured on WWE Shop and WWE's auction sites. He said he did not have a good experience when he met the Velveteen Dream. Schamberger called Dream the most unprofessional person he has dealt with in the wrestling business. Schamberger tweeted this week after Dream's release, and I quote, "Without saying anything further, he was the single most unprofessional person I've encountered in this business. I hope this is the wake-up call he needs to start doing emotional work to become a better person, all told." End quote. Now, like I said, Dream was released this week. He's not commented on his exit from the company. It's not expected we'll hear anything since his Twitter account was deleted a while back. Now, with all the other releases, seems like most of them are going to end up finding work somewhere. Nobody knows if AEW or Impact or any of these companies will reach out to Velveteen Dream unless he is able to clear his name from the allegations of appropriate messages, or inappropriate messages, I should say, to underage children. I was a big Velveteen Dream guy. I think a lot of you guys were. But the inappropriate messages to the underage children during that speaking out movement, and Dream got dragged in that was the end of his career. WWE took him off television. According to sources, apparently with him being pulled off television and all these accusations, that led to the car accident. I don't know how dangerous the car accident was to his overall health, how injured he was. But apparently WWE brought him back to television, so it couldn't have been a situation that was all that bad. I don't know what to believe anymore. Was that because of the speaking out allegations? Was he drunk driving? I don't know. He was brought back to television. The talent of Velveteen Dream was there. Everybody saw it. Everybody loved what he did with Ricochet, what he did with Gargano, what he did with Black. I hate to see it, because Velveteen Dream, the one thing that I always mention when I watch pro wrestling is to see somebody grow. And watching him grow was a beautiful thing. Obviously, we didn't know what we know now, but watching him grow when we didn't know anything was a beautiful thing. Watching him mature into the gimmick and add new layers to the gimmick, the throwbacks on his influences, whether it be a take on Rick Rude's trunks, or highlighting the yellow and red of Hulk Hogan, and highlighting the NWO, or doing anything to get our attention. He was on his way to being a one-of-a-kind. I had so much praise for him. Possible WrestleMania main eventer. He had the charisma that would go as far as he wanted it on the main roster. Whatever he was doing, nobody on the main roster was doing. Nobody. He had something that was going to easily attract people. He had something that you watch WWE, you can't tell who's who. You don't care about anybody. Velveteen had something where you go to a show or you watch a show and you're going to always think about Velveteen Dream. He's going to stand out to you just as great and just as big as that 5-star Johnny Gargano Adam Cole main event. That's what Velveteen Dream built for himself. He had it all. And then the speaking out movement happened. And after that, it was all over. Once it hits the internet, once it goes viral like that, and you're a big name like that, it's all over. It's all over. Matt Riddle made his main roster debut on SmackDown. They put him immediately in an Intercontinental title program with AJ Styles when Styles was IC champion. He had just beaten Daniel Bryan in a great tournament. Matt Riddle gets brought to SmackDown during the PC era, the pandemic era. As soon as he got called to the main roster, allegations came out about Matt Riddle, that he sexually abused somebody, cheated on his wife. If you're a major name like that, if you're with the WWE, it's all over. Now, Matt Riddle seemingly is working through this stuff. I don't know where his allegations stand or where his court dates stand. The last I read, it's being delayed until the end of the year. WWE, we didn't know if they were going to punish Matt Riddle, take him off television. But this is some serious shit, man. You know, Matt Riddle can do what he did, and it could go to court, and it could be wiped of all the charges. Velveteen Dream, what he did is unforgivable. It's unforgivable. And I always think back to when I worked at Hog when we were still doing the live shows. I hope to get back soon. I called matches for somebody that I loved calling matches for. I don't even want to mention his name, but I'm going to mention his name here because, you know, it goes with the situation. Rude Boy Riley, if you guys are familiar with that name. He was a great pro wrestler. He had an it factor to him. And I remember that he was actually given an NXT tryout. And he was on his way to going and joining NXT. And then those allegations came out. Child pornography. He was that type of guy. Never heard from him, never heard about him ever again, and you'll never hear about him. He's probably working a fucking janitorial job at fucking Pathmark for all I know. Good for him. He'll never be allowed or welcomed in a locker room for the rest of his fucking life. He's gonna have to live with that shit until the day he's put in the fucking ground. Velveteen Dream, everybody's accusing him of the worst shit humanly possible. Rude Boy Riley was convicted guilty. Velveteen Dream, he was not. Everybody's basing all these accusations and guilt on Twitter, on social media. Do we know exactly if the Velveteen Dream is guilty? WWE didn't find anything. If WWE didn't find anything, why is that not good for you fucking people? Do you realize that WWE's image is their most important fucking thing? You think Vince McMahon's gonna let the WWE image fall to the wayside? If you think WWE would allow somebody like the Velveteen Dream on their fucking TV, knowing these accusations are out there and he was guilty, do you think he would be put on TV? Do you think the WWE would have still held on to him the way that they did, only to release him this week? Even Brian Alvarez said, I don't think it has anything to do with the accusations. It's more than just the accusations. It's him being an immature prick. I could see Velveteen being an immature prick. Everybody sang this guy's praises and sucked this guy's dick for years because of how fast he was coming along and what he did in the business at such a young age. Obviously, his ego grew too big. He developed an attitude issue. He developed a high and mighty attitude with everybody. Oh, I'm this, I deserve this, and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, instead of going through the process and being humble about it and then moving up when you should be moving up, WWE held him back because whatever comes out of NXT is a direct image on Triple H. Imagine Velveteen Dream going to the main roster and him acting like that. That would shine on Triple H. What are you doing down here? Why is he this way? Can you imagine that? He would have been put in his place very quickly on the main roster. Probably not even featured on TV. And then it would be right back to where we are now. Buried. But why is everybody on social media so quick to judge Velveteen Dream when the accusations, obviously they're made, but have we found out that he's guilty? Nothing's come of them. Why was the Velveteen Dream guilty? Because fucking some egg on Twitter, Wrestling Mark 967543210 said something about Velveteen Dream being guilty? Why did everybody jump down this guy's throat and just guilty? It's unfair. It's unfair. We don't know if he's guilty or innocent, so stop throwing parades as if you're going to lose sleep that the Velveteen Dream is still on the WWE roster. Now that you are finally in a position to get what you want, he's gone. Enough. If he ends up being guilty, he ends up being guilty. If he ends up being innocent, good for him. But WWE would not have employed this person now when their image is their number one priority. They are a publicly traded company. WWE would have had a fucking shitstorm knowing that they had a child predator employed guilty working on their television show. Give me a break. Some of you don't fucking think. You immediately want to cast judgment without having any factual information because it fits your fucking agenda. We don't know anything. You don't know anything. I don't know anything. So stop acting high and mighty like you have all the fucking information when we don't know what the fuck happened with this guy. I never once said this guy was guilty. Not once. I would never go on social media or say anything about, oh, Dream, fuck that guy, fuck Patrick Clark, he's guilty. Why, because Twitter said something? Now, the accusations, they're out there. The accusations are out there. But the accusations, they're just as bad as him being innocent or him being guilty. The accusations right now are just there. It's a what if, but that what if is going to derail this guy's professional wrestling career. AEW won't look at him. Impact won't look at him. Ring of Honor won't look at him. MLW won't look at him. No wrestling promotion is going to look at the Velveteen Dream. No wrestling promotion ever is going to look at him. Why? Because the accusations are still there. If WWE held on to this guy for so long, that means that more than likely the accusations were just fucking accusations. There was no guilty, there was no innocent. For all we know, it still could have been under investigation. Could have been innocent for all we know. But they held on to him for so long because they did not want to let him go. They held on because they had no choice. His behavior wasn't getting better. NXT, from what I heard from several people, is not the type of environment that welcomes that type of behavior. It is a family. Everybody helps each other out. The roster breaks down and sets up that ring every show. It is a bond. It is a family. You go through the levels of getting where you need to go. You can't walk into that company, into that brand with that management and expect to be given everything. It got even too much for everybody that loved him. But no wrestling company is going to look at him because of the public image now that has been projected onto Velveteen Dream. Anybody that brings this guy in is a black mark on their brand. It's a black mark for AEW. It's a black mark for Impact. No fans are ever going to accept him because of what they know on social media. Because people are fucking stupid to believe everything that goes around on social media. So that is the only thing that these unintelligent fucking geeks are going to rely on. They heard it on social media. They heard it on a dirt sheet. They heard it on this. That's all they know. They're going to take that. They're going to form judgment. And then they're going to cast it onto the company that hires him. This is why I say he's not going anywhere. Nobody will buy tickets to a show he's on. No talent will want to work with him. It's going to be a black mark for any company. Their social media presence, forget about it. It's going to be a fucking shitstorm like you wouldn't believe. People will revolt. People will fucking picket. It's over. It's over. I don't know what he does now. I don't know if he goes on and tries to clear his name. I don't know if he goes on to just leave the business altogether. From what I read, the guy needs to do some fucking soul searching. He needs to fucking be humble. He needs to have something that brings him down to a point where he realizes and looks back, hey man, I fucked up. What can I do to get better? If he clears his name, then maybe WWE brings him back. But where is he going to go? Even if he does get cleared of all these accusations, where exactly is he going to go? You think the Velveteen Dream is going to succeed by just being named Patrick Clark in AEW or Patrick Clark in Impact Wrestling? Velveteen Dream, the money in Patrick Clark is the Velveteen Dream. He's never going to be the same again. He's damaged goods. But I don't want people to sit there and fucking say he's guilty, 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 guilty when you don't fucking know anything. You can't base guilty or innocent on fucking Twitter. So cut the shit. I'd never convict somebody being guilty because I don't fucking like them or it doesn't fit my political fucking agenda. Cut the shit. Happens to too many fucking people. Fuck out of here, man. Velveteen Dream was on his way to being one of the biggest names in the WWE. It's a sad way to go. He knows this. I hope he does something to correct all these issues. I really do. But from what I see, WWE held on because they believed they had something. It was just too much for them to handle at the moment. And he's young enough that if he does get cleared and he's brought back, maybe he gets another chance. But I'm telling you, man, with people today and social media, I still see people in the chat. He needs to go to jail. Monique, listen, I know how you feel. I know how you feel. I get it. I'm not here praising the fucking guy. I'm here stating that you can't rely on social media. Once it is officially confirmed that he is guilty, have a blast. Have a blast. I just got done saying that he's in the fucking Rude Boy Riley category, where Rude Boy Riley had his fucking home raided, he had child porn all over his fucking laptop. This is a fucking guy that had major promise in NXT. He was on his way to NXT, on the indies. He'll never be found in another locker room again. But Velveteen Dream, until he's convicted like Rude Boy Riley, I don't want to hear people shitting on him that, oh, yeah, I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad he's gone. It's so much more than what he's being accused for, which we don't even know is guilty or innocent. We don't know. Everybody's claiming that he's guilty. What the fuck do you know? What does anybody know about Patrick Clark? I'm not going to sit here and shit on a guy when I don't know jack shit about the situation. All I know is what I saw on television had fucking promise. If he goes to jail, and listen, if he's convicted, then I agree. In jail, I never want to see this guy out in fucking public ever again. But that is until he's convicted. He'll never work. Listen, it should ease everybody's minds that he's never going to work anywhere again. AEW will not even breathe Patrick Clark. Impact won't breathe Patrick Clark. You have no worry about him going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. I know I wouldn't. If I ran a wrestling promotion, I would never look at Velveteen Dream and bring him on in. But there are some sick fucks out there that will bring him in. There are some sick fucking people that will bring him in and not give a fuck about their public image. WWE's public image is way too important to them. I don't think he would have lasted this long on that payroll if they found something as far as him being guilty. That's the point I'm trying to make. If WWE had found something on Dream and it was 100% confirmed guilty, that man would have been fired during the speaking out movement. Absolutely no questions asked. The fact that he remained on the roster, was put on TV against Kushida and for the North American title, I think it's pretty safe to say that WWE's investigation, now you could believe WWE did something or did not do anything. I don't fucking know. I don't know what happens behind closed doors. But I know for a fact that the company's image is number one. If WWE found this guy to be guilty, he would have been gone a long time ago. It's sad. It really is. I hate when talent is wasted, man. I really do. I want nothing but success. I put a lot of time. Us as fans, we put a lot of time and effort into these people. This is why I don't understand people shitting on what I do or what Solid Monster does or fucking Don Tony and Steven Larson, all these guys. Some of them may be cookie cutter and they may toe the company line. Guys like me, Solid Monster is very critical when it deserves it. We get shit on for being critical. But when we see something like this happening, we have every right to fucking speak our mind, man. We put a lot of fucking time and effort into watching these characters and investing our time into fucking believing in them, and then something like this fucking shit happens? This isn't a bad creative move on Monday Night Raw. This is fucking somebody that is being convicted of being a child predator. Yeah, it fucking sucks. I don't want to see anybody go that way. Anyway, I don't want to talk about him anymore. Listen, I was a fan. I'm disappointed. It's pretty much what the basis of it all is. I'm disappointed. Anyway. Check the chat, man. 1,462 in the venue. I appreciate you. We are at 830 likes. It's 170 more for 1,000, guys. Let's get it on up. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate you hit the thumbs up and support the podcast. Once again, sponsored by Dr. Squatch, drsquatch.com. You guys are going to use code SCRIPT at checkout for 20% off. Blue TV, JD, you didn't say he was guilty, but you sure is helping discriminate him. How am I discriminating against him? How am I discriminating? Well, I'm discriminating against him because he's black? Don't start the fucking shit with me about him being black, okay? I'm not discriminating anybody that is black on the WWE roster. Give me a fucking break with this shit. You must be a fucking newbie here then. How many times have I backed up Dream? How many times have I backed up Bianca Belair and Naomi and Ember Moon? How many times have I praised Sasha Banks? Don't give me this shit. Don't give me this shit. Get him the fuck out of the chat. Don't really understand you fucking people, man. I really don't. I made a whole fucking video that got WWE's attention about Sasha Banks when she quit. I made a whole fucking thing about Naomi when Booker T fucking did something stupid to Naomi. But I did. Now I'm discriminating against fucking Velveteen Dream? Fuck out of here, man. It's always got to be that one guy. Moving on with the rest of the show, man. Thank you to the mods for holding it down in the chat. Always appreciate you. Friday Night SmackDown. Overnight ratings are in after WrestleMania Fallout Backlash Edition. 1.830. It's Monday Night Raw territory. That is actually up. It's actually up from the episode that aired last week. 1.8 was last week's rating. No word yet on the hourly viewership because it's the weekend. Show did 2.147 million viewers in hour one, and hour two did 2.166 million viewers. This was 2 weeks ago. So clearly they are going down, 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 down in the ratings. It's indicative of how these shows have been largely terrible outside of Roman Reigns. Pulled an average of a 0.50 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic, which was number 4 for the night. That is down from the 0.40 rating in the 18 to 49. Actually, it's up. Down. Whoever I took this fucking article from is a complete idiot. It's up. Pulled in an average of a 0.50 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic. Apparently, that is up from last week's 0.40. SmackDown. Shinsuke Nakamura with Baron Corbin. They had a one-on-one match. He defeats Baron Corbin with distraction from Rick Boogs. My boy Rick Boogs is on SmackDown. Apparently, he must have made an impression from being the Old Spice guy, Joseph Average. If you guys remember those skits with R-Truth. Maybe something stuck out to management. I don't know what happened there, but, the pairing of Shinsuke and Rick Boogs, it is odd, to say the least. I don't know what they're going to do with Rick Boogs. I don't know if he's going to be an every week act on the show. I don't know if he's going to be an in-ring performer. I don't know, but I like it. I like it. I got to support my fellow metalhead, man. I really do. He's out there playing a Jackson Flying V, and he's singing power metal to Shinsuke Nakamura's theme song. I love it. I love it, man. Dominic Mysterio defeated Bobby Roode. Shayna Baszler, Nia Jackson, Bayley defeated Bianca Belair, Tamina, and Natalya. This actually gets Shayna and Nia another tag team title match on Raw against Tamina and Natalya. And Apollo Crews defeated Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Big E in a fatal four-way for the IC title. He retains the title. And we saw the return of Aleister Black. They're moving Big E on to something else and moving him away from Apollo Crews. Looks like Big E and Aleister Black will be a priority on their show. And Apollo Crews can definitely move on to Kevin Owens and defend that championship against Owens going into SummerSlam. I could see Kevin Owens being the IC champ, and then we get Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the IC title again. That's what I see happening. But listen, man, SmackDown, if they play their cards right, they got one hell of a mid-card division, man. You got Black, Big E, Owens, Zayn, Crews. You throw Buddy Murphy in the mix there. I mean, you talk about a fucking SmackDown 6. There you go. There's no reason why WWE can't have a competitive Intercontinental Championship mid-card. None. Chad Gable, throw Chad Gable in the mix. Should be great. You got Shinsuke Nakamura, Seth Rollins. All the while, you're coming up with ideas to feed Roman some more top-tier level guys. AEW Dynamite. Their viewership was in. They were actually down. And the viewership is in for Dynamite. 821,000 viewers. That is down from the 936,000 viewers the show did the previous week. In the 18 to 49 demographic, the show did a 0.28, which was down. Obviously, every category was down. That is down from a 3.1 in the 18 to 49 demographic. The NBA playoffs hurt AEW Dynamite this week for sure. The show had to go up against the NBA playoffs, and that was a game between the Spurs and the Grizzlies on ESPN that did 2.3 million viewers. So everybody's like, oh, look at AEW. They're floundering in the ratings. They're going down in the ratings, but it's playoff basketball, folks. There's a lot of NBA storylines going on there that a lot of people are going to be interested in. So Dynamite's going to have to take a back seat. When the playoffs are over and we crown a new NBA champion, then Dynamite's ratings will go right back up to where they were. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. Christian Cage defeated Matt Sydal. Serena Deeb defeated Red Velvet. Anthony Onogo defeated Austin Gunn. The Young Bucks defeated the Varsity Blondes to retain the AEW Tag Team Championships. Two little things of note here. Number one, we got Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley stealing some Gucci Jordans from the Young Bucks. Apparently, these sneakers are worth thousands of dollars. I don't know why they're worth thousands of dollars, but to each his own. You'd never catch me dead paying $1,000 for a fucking pair of sneakers. But also a side note, I did watch the Brian Pillman Dark Side of the Ring. Loved it. Thought it was awesome. Thought it was one of the best episodes that they produced. I really feel for Brian Pillman Jr., man. I really do. With all the struggle that his dad went through and him passing away at the age of 35. And, you know, it was just the whole story there. You know, what he did to himself, him cheating on his wife at the time and then going off with somebody else who was a dancer. And it was just a sad story, man. He had all these kids that he left behind. His legacy's going to live on forever. But the car crash, man. The car crash that pretty much ended his career. Who knows what would have happened if he wasn't behind the wheel, he didn't take the pain pills, and he didn't crash his fucking car. Can you imagine where he would have been on Monday Night Raw on WWE television with Stone Cold Steve Austin? Can you imagine them feuding for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania? What could have been, man? That's one of the things. You know, in all of WWE, I watched and I wonder what could have been if just little things were done differently. It's amazing. It's amazing. Excellent, excellent documentary. I also did watch the one on Nick Gage. I don't know whether he's fucking stupid or just a fucking lunatic or both, man. But you wouldn't catch me fucking with that guy ever. Guy's a fucking raving lunatic, man. The shit with David Arquette. The shit that he did robbing the bank. He robbed a bank for $3,000, hands the teller a note saying that he's got a gun. He goes to Atlantic City for 10 days, blows the $3,000 with his girlfriend, and then pretty much admits to everything. It's crazy. He went to jail for 4 years over stealing $3,000. And then he went back to jail for another 2 years because he obviously broke his parole. He was caught taking a drug test using somebody else's urine. Oh. I'm looking forward to the Ultimate Warrior story, man. That's the one I'm looking forward to. That's the one I'm looking forward to. Anyway, AEW, like I said, the Young Bucks retain the AEW Tag Team titles against the Varsity Blondes. Hikaru Shida defeated Rebel. Not Reba, Rebel. Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston defeated The Acclaimed. And Max Caster made himself into an internet sensation, if he wasn't one already, with his pre-match promo on Jon Moxley's wife. Moose. Apparently Moose has signed the new contract with Impact Wrestling. I mention this because it's AEW news as well, being that Impact is partnered with AEW. Meltzer is reporting that Moose has signed the new contract with Impact Wrestling. 37 years old. Moose is, outside Sammy, probably my favorite on the Impact Wrestling roster. He's fucking awesome. I think Moose is great. 37 years old. Recently said he wants to win the world title before his contract expires in June. Looks like he will have more time to achieve this goal because, according to Meltzer, he signed the new contract with Impact Wrestling. Now, it gets interesting because Moose quote tweeted Dave Meltzer and said completely untrue about him signing a new Impact contract. He's been teasing that he's going to NXT. He's been teasing that he's going to AEW. He's just doing the social media game. 37 years old. I would think with Moose and Omega coming up at their next pay-per-view, I'm assuming that's the next match. I don't know if it's confirmed yet or not, but if that's the next match, I don't see why he would leave Impact. I mean, I think he's done pretty much all that he could accomplish in Impact. I think he's made a pretty damn good name for himself in Impact. If he wants, at 37 years old, to start finally moving on up and making some big money, I think it's about time to leave the mother's nest of Impact Wrestling. Maybe go to AEW. Maybe we get this one match with Moose and Omega, and then he jumps to NXT. I have no fucking idea. Before he re-signed with Impact, or before Moose actually went to Impact, there was many, many, many moons ago, he was on his way to NXT. I don't recall what the issue was there, why NXT didn't sign him, but maybe he joins Impact. Maybe he joins AEW. Maybe he joins NXT. I don't know. But I do think that the Moose and Omega match is going to be awesome when it does happen. That's a style that Kenny Omega, I want to see if he could go toe-to-toe with Moose and really bring out the best in Moose. Moose is fucking good. But being in the ring with Omega, I'm very interested to see how those two clash of styles mix. But Moose says he didn't sign. Meltzer says he did. We'll find out soon enough. And the match, like I said, I said it wasn't, I didn't know if it was confirmed, but Moose, in this report, will indeed challenge Kenny Omega at the Against All Odds show next month on Impact Plus. So it is confirmed, and it should be a pretty damn good match between those two. AEW, they're moving to TBS in 2022. But this will not mean that they're going soft. AEW will not cut down on the blood and guts with the move to TBS in 2022. During Observer Live, Meltzer was asked if AEW will be forced to tone down their programming content with their upcoming TBS move. Seems that Warner Media knows that they are buying AEW the way it is right now, and there's no indication that they are asking for a tamer AEW on the way to TBS. He says in that quote, there's nothing to that, but as far as what they're giving them the TBS time slot. Same thing, same night of the week, same time, just different channel. They're giving them the Clash of the Champions, so to speak, the 4 quarterly events on TNT. You know they're getting live specials, and they're giving them even more money. He later said there won't be any difference with blood. Same standards and practices on each station. End quote. This is a good deal. This is a good deal for AEW. This is a good deal for fans. Because not only is the move to TBS beneficial to AEW, their entire month of June is going to be a shitstorm. They're going to be preempted along with the NBA playoffs. I don't know whether they're airing on Wednesday night at 10 p.m. I don't know if they're airing on Friday at 10 p.m. It's going to be a mixed bag. So AEW is going to have a really shitty month of June with the NBA on TNT, but that's why they're moving them to TBS. Less preemptions. The only time you got to worry about it is when the MLB, which I do think airs on TBS as well, whether it's to the ALCS or the NLCS, they may get preempted maybe once or twice, but not as often as you got now with the NBA. And then TNT is adding NHL. So who knows how many more times AEW would be preempted with the NHL. Because they air on Wednesday nights too. But this is great for AEW. No more worries about preemptions. Dynamite could air when it needs to air on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. We got Rampage happening on TNT starting in August. That's happening on Friday at 10 p.m. And then Rampage is moving to TBS from TNT. So they're going to be on TNT like AEW is for this year. But with 2022, both Dynamite and Rampage are moving over to TBS. I want to make sure you guys are aware of that move. Rampage and Dynamite will be on TBS. Same time, same nights. Wednesday at 8 for Dynamite and Rampage Friday at 10. I don't know whether Rampage is going to be live or pre-taped. We'll find out when we get that official announcement. But this is a good move for AEW. This is a good move for us. It's a good move for fans. We get more wrestling. We get that another 1 hour show. They need to treat that show with a severe level of importance. Whatever happens on Wednesday needs to continue on and be consistent moving on into Friday. And then with the quarterly specials, the Clash of the Champions specials, it's going to be something that is integrated into the pay-per-view build. So you're going to get your Fighter Fests. You're going to get your special events, Clash of Champions-like events that are going to air on TNT quarterly. And they're going to be put into the build and placed in between all the major pay-per-views, which right now AEW has 4 of. This is a great deal. This is a great deal. They're getting more money. TNT, TBS, Time Warner, they believe in AEW. That's exactly what you want. That's exactly what you want to hear. So this is a great move for not only AEW, but for us fans as well. So I'm very excited about that. I did mention Rampage. I will say this about Rampage, man. I don't know what the vibe of the show is going to be. I don't know what the show is going to look like. I don't know what the show is going to sound like. But I will say this. I said this after his match with Impact, the Omega and Swan match. Mauro Ranallo needs to sign on with AEW. He needs to be the voice of Rampage. That's it. Tony Schiavone, they got him doing fucking everything under the sun. I don't see Jim Ross doing 2 shows a week. I don't want to hear Excalibur on Wednesday and then again on Friday. I don't want to hear Tony on Wednesday and then again on Friday. You need to make these shows different. If you want to give me Mauro and Taz, you want to give me Mauro and Big Show, Paul White, I'll take it. Mauro Ranallo needs to be the play-by-play guy for Rampage. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. He sounded phenomenal during the Omega and Swan match at Impact's last pay-per-view. He says he wants to be back doing it. He says he had a blast doing it. He knows the talent. You know he knows the talent. Give him a call. Give that man whatever he desires and get him on Friday nights. You're going to want that show to be legit. You're going to want that show to stand out. It's not going to stand out by giving me the same voices and the same vibe. It can't look like Dark and it can't sound like Dynamite. Give me Mauro. Simple. I know if I see that Mauro's a free agent, picking up the fucking phone, and I'm calling Mauro Ranallo, what do I got to do to get you to call Rampage? What do you want? And you listen to him, and you give him what he wants. NXT viewership for the North American title. Steel cage match between Bronson Reed and Johnny Gargano. They were up. So we got NXT drawing 700,000 live viewers. That is up from the 697,000 the show did previously, the prior week. 0.16 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic. And the full card looks like this. Toni Storm defeated Zoe Stark. Finally, Toni got a win. We got Legado del Fantasma defeating Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. Jake Atlas defeated Cameron Grimes with the distraction of Ted DiBiase. So Cameron Grimes lost to Jake Atlas because of distraction from Ted DiBiase. Hit Row, which I'm loving right now. I think they're going to be great on NXT. Ashante, the Adonis, and Top Dollar defeated Tony Nese and Arya Daivari. We got a preview for Karrion Kross and Finn Balor for this Tuesday show. And Bronson Reed beat Johnny Gargano in a great steel cage match to become the new North American champion. Good for Bronson Reed. He's one of my favorites on the show. The growth I've seen from him, awesome. I think this really bodes well for the North American Championship because it opens up a slew of opponents for Bronson Reed, where Johnny Gargano felt like he was holding that title back. Johnny didn't need the title anymore. And the North American title didn't need Johnny Gargano. Now with Bronson Reed as the champion, it opens up matches against Santos Escobar. It opens up matches against Isaiah Swerve Scott. It opens up matches against Pete Dunne. This is a great thing for Bronson Reed. So no matter who beats Bronson Reed, it's going to mean something because Bronson Reed's been built up like a fucking beast. It's great. What happens to Johnny? I don't know. Maybe he gets demoted to Raw or SmackDown. God help our souls and God help his soul. Or maybe he gets thrown into the NXT title picture. No idea. But good for Bronson Reed, man. That was a much-deserved victory. WWE is looking into signing a top independent wrestler with all the releases this week from NXT. WWE is looking to bring in Speedball Mike Bailey. Dave Meltzer reported in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter that the company is trying to sign him and work out his visa issues. He was previously banned from entering the United States in 2016 because, A, he's Canadian-born, and he tried to come to this country without a proper working visa, and that's what caused his issue. Now, during this time, Combat Zone Wrestling, CZW, was attempting to get Bailey his visa, but it didn't work out. The ban was for 5 years, but it just expired in March. He found popularity working for PWG, where he worked with Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, amongst others. Due to his ban in the United States, he's been working for promotions in Canada and Europe. Now, with this story, I actually went on YouTube and I found some matches. One match I did watch in its entirety, a match against Matt Riddle. He looks like he'd fit right into NXT. The look that he has really wasn't much of anything. He looked very generic, but man, he could wrestle. So I wanted to see what was all the talk about Speedball Mike Bailey. The guy can wrestle. The guy can wrestle for sure. It looks like he'd fit perfect in NXT. So if NXT gets him, I'd love to see what they do with him as far as creating a character for him. But that's what they're doing. They released, and now they're trying to sign Speedball Mike Bailey, and he's probably not the only one that they're looking at. WWE is looking to bring in talent. As I said before, they scour AEW Dark, and they look for all the top names in the indies who don't have much going on right now that want work on Dark, that want to get their name out there. WWE has somebody scouting Dark, and then those individuals get calls from WWE to get tryouts at the Performance Center. So AEW Dark is NXT's best friend. But they're looking to get Speedball Mike Bailey, and more than likely it will happen. If they want somebody, they go out and get them. Monday Night Raw. Show sucked, as always. PW Torch says that Monday Night Raw drew an average of 1.823 million viewers on USA Network. That is up barely from the 1.817 million viewers the show did last week. 18 to 49 demo saw 0.48. That is down from the 0.53 18 to 49 demo the show did last week. Hourly breakdown, 1.79, 1.93, and 1.74. So the show actually went up in hour 2 and went right back to what it usually does in hour 3. Monday Night Raw saw Drew McIntyre once again confront Bobby Lashley. More than likely, they will end up inside Hell in a Cell. AJ Styles defeats Elias by disqualification. Angel Garza once again defeats Drew Gulak. Kofi Kingston defeated Randy Orton with distraction from Xavier Woods. Natalya and Tamina defeated Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler with distraction from Alexa Bliss and her doll, Lily. A lot of distraction finishes on Raw, folks. Seems like WWE's favorite thing to do. Sheamus defeated Rick O'Shea. Asuka defeated Charlotte with obvious distraction from Rhea Ripley. Damian Priest defeated John Morrison in a lumberjack match. Real creative there, Bruce. And Kofi Kingston answered an open challenge from Bobby Lashley. He beats Bobby Lashley with distraction from Drew McIntyre. Monday Night Raw is a distraction from my Monday night. Show sucks. A lot of people are saying, are we getting Kofi Mania again? No, we're not. We're not getting Kofi Mania. Nor should we. Kofi Mania the first time around, well, wasn't even all that good. Now you want Kofi Mania again? Don't you want something new on this show? Drew McIntyre will beat Bobby Lashley inside Hell in a Cell, and that's it. Kofi Kingston may get a token title match from Drew McIntyre and get squashed. Why would you take Kofi Kingston away from the New Day? There's no tag teams in the division. Legit tag teams, anyway. The only reason why Kofi Kingston got a shot here and is being presented as a possible world title threat is because WWE has no baby faces on the show. They got no baby faces outside of Drew McIntyre to go up against Bobby Lashley. And Kofi Kingston is not beating Bobby Lashley, not before Drew McIntyre. Give me a break with that. WWE appears to have undecided future plans for Angel Garza. What else is new? Angel Garza appears to be getting another shot on Raw because they realize that this show fucking sucks. He's getting pushed again after being on the bench in catering for several months. Garza defeated Drew Gulak on Monday Night Raw. And that was followed up by Mr. Garza shoving a rose in Gulak's mouth, a la Ted DiBiase when he took the $100 bill and shoved it in people's mouths after his match. Which now you look back on and how nasty that was, especially with COVID going on. Can you imagine? But it comes across as if Garza is a heel. But on The Observer, and this was noted by Brian Alvarez, there are mixed signals being sent out to different people in the company. Alvarez says, and I quote, Byron Saxton is the babyface announcer, and he's disgusted by Garza's actions. Corey Graves is the heel announcer, and he thinks this is awesome. Also, for the record, the guy in the Thunderdome that tells everybody who to cheer and who to boo told everyone to make sure that you cheer for Angel Garza. So nobody knows what's going on with Angel Garza. End quote. If WWE doesn't know, then how the fuck are we supposed to care? That's what I want to know. Garza is a heel. Garza is not a babyface. Garza is a Lothario. Garza is a pretty boy prick who thinks he could get any woman on the face of the earth. And he's cocky and he's obscene. He just has that fucking prick-like charisma. I don't know where you get babyface from that. But Drew Gulak, as far as I'm concerned, is a blue-collar submission specialist babyface. So why is Garza a babyface? I don't get it. If WWE doesn't know, why are we going to care? Garza's a heel. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. WWE's likely plan for calling out Kofi Kingston to go and answer Bobby Lashley's open challenge. During Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer discussed how much WWE is protecting Bobby Lashley. They had him lose this week, but it wasn't for the title, which I found issue with. I don't know if you guys watched my Monday Night Raw live stream. I had issue with this. Bobby Lashley, he got a dominating victory over Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman at Backlash. Then he shows up on Monday Night Raw and loses to Kofi Kingston because of interference from Drew McIntyre. Then I go a little deeper. I dive into the rabbit hole a little deeper. Kofi Kingston, the last time he was anything WWE champion related was when he showed up on SmackDown and Brock Lesnar beat him in 7 seconds. So if Brock Lesnar can beat Kofi Kingston in 7 seconds, don't you think that Bobby Lashley should be beating Kofi Kingston in about 7 seconds? So they just buried Bobby Lashley and made him look super inferior to Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar could do it. Why can't Bobby Lashley do it? Kofi Kingston is only there because they have no other baby faces outside of Drew McIntyre. Simple. That's how clueless this fucking company is. Meanwhile, if you take my fucking way of booking Monday Night Raw, Monday Night Raw's main event could be the best in years on the main roster. Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre. You take the title off of Lashley, give it to Drew McIntyre. Daniel Bryan, put him on Raw. Adam Cole, call him up, put him on Raw. Edge, put him on Raw. That's exactly where he was before he challenged Roman. Put him on Raw. Get AJ Styles out of that fucking tag team with Omos. Put him in the main event. Randy Orton. I mean, look at that main event scene. You want to add Balor to that? Add Balor. WWE doesn't know what the fuck they want to do. Seriously. They do a lot of long-term... Actually, no, they don't. They don't do a lot of long-term stuff, says Mr. Meltzer. But it's clear that they want to protect Bobby Lashley at all costs. The only way to do a Bobby Lashley-Kofi Kingston championship match is this. So now they've got a reason to do that match. They wanted to make sure that they don't hurt Bobby Lashley, but they did. They did hurt Bobby Lashley. Because of just the whole Brock Lesnar situation. Kingston lost in 7 seconds to Brock Lesnar. Bobby Lashley's been built up like Brock Lesnar. Why is Bobby Lashley struggling against somebody who wrestled Randy Orton an hour before this? Nobody thinks. Nobody thinks. WWE, they already halted the push of Humberto Carrillo. PW Insider noted that Humberto Carrillo wasn't featured on Monday Night Raw this week. It was previously reported that WWE had a change-up of several aspects of Raw later in the day. One of those changes apparently nixed Humberto Carrillo from the show, much like Mansoor was axed last week. Mansoor, speaking of which, hasn't made an appearance on Raw since his debut 3 weeks ago. It's already done. I gave it 2 weeks. WWE trumped me and gave him 1 week on Raw. For those that asked why there was no update on Humberto Carrillo, the decision was made to focus on the Ricochet stuff. Much like Mansoor being forgotten 1 week after he debuted, the decision was made to focus on something else entirely. Humberto Carrillo's push on Raw was apparently stopped because they just went in another direction. That was it. WWE is so desperate to get something different on these shows because they realize, they won't admit it, but they're realizing that these shows are the same show every fucking week. But Humberto's been on the sidelines for a year. Who's going to give a fuck about Humberto Carrillo? You got this guy sitting around and now you want to bring him back to TV just like that? Nobody gave a fuck about him then. Now you bring him back and you expect people to care? Same thing with Mansoor. No video package, no hype package. Nobody knows who the fuck he is. Yeah, let's bring him to Monday Night Raw. Yeah, people will care. Monday Night Raw needs a complete gutting. That's what it needs. Finally, guys, before we get the Super Chats going, The Miz. The Miz was quoted saying that he and John Morrison are not breaking up anytime soon. So what that really means and what that translates to is that Miz and Morrison are breaking up when Miz comes back. Miz and Morrison have been a cringe package deal since Morrison returned to the WWE in early 2020. Since WrestleMania 37, it appears that their partnership may not be long for Monday Night Raw. The duo has had troubles as of late with Zombies and Damian Priest and Bad Bunny, but The Miz says he doesn't see them splitting up soon, if ever. Speaking with Forbes, because they're so reputable in the pro wrestling world, Forbes magazine, Miz says he thinks that he has a long way to go with Morrison as a team. Here's the quote. I don't see myself and John Morrison splitting up for a very long time, if ever. I don't see that happening. We're too connected. We have too much chemistry, and we still have more to go. John pushes me more than anybody else in WWE. Right now, he is just absolutely incredible. He's on a tear. And I think if he's not in the main event scene going for the WWE or Universal Championship in the next year, I think this is something we're missing in WWE. End quote. I do agree with him on that. I do think that John Morrison is good enough to be an upper level, mid-card to main event level act. I do think he's that good. But he needs to be a little bit more serious. WWE should move Frankie Monet, a.k.a. Taya Valkyrie, from NXT and put her on Monday Night Raw. She's more than TV ready. She doesn't need NXT. They should make them a power couple. She could enhance John Morrison while The Miz is out for 9 months, supposedly. John Morrison could have a new lease on life. Miz can come back with Maurice. We can have a nice mixed tag team match between the two. We could have a nice feud between the two. Miz can go back to being a dastardly heel like he used to be when he was good. Not this cringe bullshit that he's doing with Morrison. So from what I gather, he says that he and John Morrison are not breaking up anytime soon. I translate that into they are breaking up when The Miz comes back. That's what I feel is the best thing for both John Morrison and The Miz. Guys, I appreciate all of you stopping by the OTS venue today. Make sure you get your super chats in. We're going to go over the super chats right now. Hang out. But I thank all of you for stopping by. We got 950 likes. Let's try for 1,000. We need 50 more. 50 more is the goal, man. 4,000. But I appreciate you all. Follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206. That is Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below if you have not done so. And make sure you check out Dr. Squatch. DrSquatch.com. Use code SCRIPT at checkout for 20% off. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today on this live episode of Off the Script, man. Demon G with a $12 super chat. I appreciate that, buddy. Do you think that the Hurt Business was broken up because it resembles the Bloodline on SmackDown with too many similarities? Shelton, Cedric equal the Usos, MVP equals Paul Heyman, and of course, Lashley equals Roman. It's a plausible thought, but I don't think so. I just think that WWE got tired of pushing Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander when they didn't want to push Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. I don't think Paul Heyman would advocate for breaking up something on Monday Night Raw. Why is his issue anything on Monday Night Raw? His issue is Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso, and getting that faction over. That's it. Hurt Business was broken up because Vince McMahon's a fucking psycho lunatic. He also says they would have been holding the same titles as well. Now, my opinion stands on that, man. Paul Heyman and the Bloodline, all they have on their minds is what to do with Roman, Jimmy, and Jey Uso, and that's it. Henley Pierre with a $5 super chat. JD, sorry to scare you with this rumor, but I do hear that Cena could return to SmackDown to destroy Reigns and win the title. Not happening. It's not happening. Why would anybody want John Cena to beat Roman Reigns? It's all about the story. Cena chasing 17, Cena being the face of WWE, WWE not building somebody up like John Cena since his absence. Enter Roman Reigns. He's the head of the table. Hooligrim with a $10 super chat. OTS live, baby. It's best for business. Hashtag goons for life. Thanks for what you do week in and week out. I'm an OTS lifer, and shout outs to the entire OTS community. Love you all, you crazy motherfuckers. Appreciate you, Hooligrim. Thank you for holding the chat down with Hoop Media and Edgar Estrada with Raging Girl Gamer as well. You guys are awesome, man. Juan Lopez with a $5 super chat. The sunburn actually fits the bar lighting in the background. LOL, you fooled me. Sal Rex said the same thing. Listen, man, I'm not some geek that likes to sit home all the time, man. I want to go out. I want to go out with the nice weather happening. All these fucking geeks on social media, man. They live and breathe fucking social media, hiding behind Sasha Banks' avatars, man. Go out and get some fucking sun. Chris with a $4.99 super chat. Praise to Jesse. Great podcast as always. Watching the Knicks game while watching OTS on my iPad. Prayers to Jesse indeed. Indigo with a $5 super chat. Hey, JD, much respect. My condolences to Jesse. Dream was his own worst enemy. Have fun out there in Florida for Double or Nothing. Another awesome episode of OTS. I will be in Jacksonville Saturday morning. I land at 11:20. Going right to the AEW Double or Nothing Fan Fest. And then we got the off-the-script meet and greet at Intuition Aleworks. That is Sunday from 1 to 4, 1 to 5 p.m., depending on how I feel. Colin Hutton with a $5 Canadian super chat. JD, the red shirt makes the sunburn look worse. I wear the red shirt because I like the color red when I have the green screen working off in the background. I gotta wear bright, dark colors. I wear anything like a gray or anything green. It is not good. You get this fuzzy effect with the green screen. Anyhow, I've been a fan of OTS for 4 years. Keep up the great content. Thank you, Colin. I appreciate you, man. Gavin Deeth with an Australian $5 super chat. What was the worst movie BS in wrestling, RoboCop or Zombies? I'm going to go Zombies. At least when RoboCop was back in the day, he came off as cool. Zombies, they're overdone, bro. And WWE, their regular shows are fucking embarrassments. You add Zombies like the way that they did, makes everything even worse, man. Coil Phoenix with a $50 super chat. I love John Cena back in the day, but having him back now isn't what I want at all. Why would you want to bring back someone from the past when you have very talented people like Keith Lee, who I would rather see instead of the crap we have now? I appreciate your opinion, Coil Phoenix. You always have some really great thoughts. But, like I mentioned before, feel like with John Cena coming back, I fought tooth and nail. I expressed every opinion possible about WWE pushing the younger talent, and they never do it. So why am I fighting if WWE themselves don't care? Give me a John Cena. As long as the story is there and you create captivating television for me to invest my time in, I'm good. John Cena's not winning his 17th title. He's not beating Roman Reigns. If that is the case, if that is even the match, I just want a good story. You could put him against Drew McIntyre. Same thing. Give me something that I'm going to invest my time in. Give me something that I'm excited to watch. I appreciate the $50, Coil Phoenix. Thank you so much. Danny Fox with a $4.99 super chat. Extreme Rules is in October, so they could use the horror show Eye Roll. You may be right, Danny Fox. I hope you're wrong, though. That catchphrase and catchline for the Extreme Rules show was fucking cringe. Lamar Bird with a $10 super chat. Do you see Allegiant Stadium as a future SummerSlam venue in Las Vegas? Yes, I do. Even though it will be a future WrestleMania site in the near future. Yes. WWE wants to go big early. Hooligan with another $5 super chat. To Jesse, I believe that you will be reunited with your mother again one day. I can't imagine what you're going through. I'm here for you anytime, bro. Hit me up. It's very nice of you, Hooligan. I'm sure Jesse will eventually get a hold of this for sure. Jose Charles with a $5 super chat. I'd rather have someone walk in on me watching weird videos on the hub than being caught watching Monday Night Raw. That's a pretty bold statement to make there, Jose. Monday Night Raw is that much of an embarrassment. I do agree. AJBZ 1994 with a $4.99 super chat. He says nothing, but then another $5 super chat comes on in and he says, thank you, JD, for all that you do. I watch you religiously between both my jobs. Keep up the good work and appreciate your honesty, man. Screw the trolls. Bro, I'm here on YouTube on a Sunday night, making my money, entertaining the masses, bro. Fuck the trolls. Munchie Time with a $4.99 super chat. What's up, JD? Currently at the bar playing darts and listening to OTS, drinking a classic Jack and Coke. Cheers to the OTS fam. Appreciate you, man. Make sure that beverage is cold. Michael Raymond with a $5 super chat. JD, if you had to take one wrestler from each show and make them the head referee, who do you choose and why? It's a very weird question, Michael. If I had to choose one wrestler from each show to make them head referee, Dexter Lumis, because he says nothing. He just stands there stoically, looking evil. On SmackDown, I'd probably take Roman, because the way he trash talks people is great. And then on Monday Night Raw, I'd probably take AJ Styles. Same thing. I think AJ Styles can be very funny when he wants to be. So him down-talking somebody in the ring, trash-talking them would be great. Linda Carter with a $5 super chat. Do you think WWE stalls the push of talent that is compared to The Undertaker, like The Fiend, Aleister Black, and now humanizing Dexter Lumis? No. I just think that WWE creative is fucking stupid. I don't think it has anything to do with comparing them to The Undertaker. Juan Lopez with a $5 super chat. Honestly, if Clark was guilty, he would have gotten the Benoit treatment already. He could be guilty. He could be innocent. We don't know yet. Again, also true. I stand by what I said about Velveteen Dream. Lamar Bird, $10 super chat. Everyone says there are two sides to every story. Me personally, there are three sides of the story. The truth, the lie, and nothing but the truth for Patrick Clark. In case people need to stop assuming and wait. Yeah. Everybody needs to wait. He's gone. That should shut everybody up for the time being. Social media, you can't gauge anything off social media, man. Social media is not the end-all, be-all. Can't find justice on social media. Danny Fox with the $1.99 super chat. Come to Vegas for SummerSlam, bro. Drinks are on me. I don't know, man. I'm leaning against it. I don't want to be in a 110 heat environment, standing amongst wrestling geeks. Laura Conway with a $9.99 super chat. Hey, JD, please give my regards to Jesse. I hope he's okay. We just got home from New York, and I got sunburned, too. I was only in the sun for an hour at my niece's lacrosse game. Hope all is well with you. All is well, Laura. I will give Jesse the regards. He will be back. He will be stronger than ever. Danny Fox with a $4.99 super chat. Hearing about Pillman Jr. and his step-down boiled my blood. Yeah, man, that shit sucked. I can't help but root for this guy now. The Nick Gage one sucked. He's an idiot. He is an idiot. But the Brian Pillman Jr. one, man, the stepdad stuff was real. That shit is what got me too, man. I said the same thing. It's like, you watch this and you can't help but cheer for the fucking guy. You know? Where he started to get teary-eyed and saying that he never had anybody to take him out in the yard and play catch, throw a baseball around with him, throw a football around, do sports with him. And they had a Nintendo GameCube, and his stepdad was, you know, in the know on that, and he fucking threw the GameCube against the wall. Just awful, man. It's really just awful. Henley Pierre with a $4.99 super chat. How would you book Cena if he went to Raw against Drew McIntyre? I just said this before. Anything Cena is doing, he's coming on in and chasing number 17. That is if Drew McIntyre beats Bobby Lashley for the WWE title. Linda Carter, $5 super chat. Coming out of SummerSlam versus Balor, do you think Fiend should be undefeated for at least a year until the right babyface was built up correctly? Yeah. Yes, the Fiend should have been undefeated. They put him inside a Hell in a Cell with Seth Rollins, and they gave us a non-finish. From that, buried. Danny Fox, can you call my brother Thomas a fucking goon? Wee-hee! Thomas, you're a fucking goon. Thanks for watching, bro. Magician Sapphire with the $10 super chat. Man, what a sad and self-destructive end to the Dream's career. I don't know what to think of this whole mess, but your take was very fair and balanced. I try to be, Sapphire. I try not to take what social media says as legit. You gotta learn. Social media is nothing but fucking cancerous clowns that don't think and they immediately jump to conclusions. Jack Brewer with a $5 super chat. How do you feel about New Jack versus Nick Gage? Who do you think would win the match? New Jack. Aracia with a Canadian $5 super chat. Very stupid choices made, and now he's living with the consequences. I hope Mr. Clark learns from this and finds a reason to keep, quote-unquote, dreaming. Michael Mirza. JD, love seeing you here live on my Sunday night. I'm a fan of OTS for Sundays live. I can actually make these live shows. P.S. JD, I never received my OTS koozie. Tried to email you. Let me know if you saw it. I did see it. Hoop Media knows, Michael. We're going to get those who did not receive their koozie, which is just a very few select of you. They might have gotten lost in the mail. Well, you will be getting a replacement this week, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for the $10, Michael. Rick O'Shea with the $4.99 super chat. Rick O'Shea is about 15 minutes from a 24/7 title reign. Rick O'Shea, I'm surprised he hasn't been there yet. He certainly dressed like it. Also, Rick O'Shea says with a $2.99 super chat, I did enjoy seeing Titus as a lumberjack. Well, that's because he had a green bean casserole in the oven and he had time to kill. Michael Raymond with a $2 super chat. Ms. and Morris, if you'd give me music video promos. No. Now, at that point, hopefully John Morrison is a lot more serious. Drizzy Drew with a $4.99 super chat. Hey, JD, who do you think the Joker in the Casino Battle Royale at Double or Nothing will be? I think it's Zicky Dice. He's been teasing a move. Bro, Zicky Dice is a absolute non-factor. not really what I'd be wasting AEW payroll on. The Double or Nothing wild card will be Paul White. He's going to get up from the announce table, have his wrestling gear on underneath his suit, and he's going to be in the Battle Royal. Mackenzie with a $2.99 Super Chat. 7 more days. Can't wait. Mackenzie and Nick. 7 more days for the off-the-script meet and greet. We'll be there. Ty Sloan with a $1.99 Super Chat. Thoughts on Judas Priest, Backstreet Boys, and NSYNC? NSYNC was better than the Backstreet Boys. I love me some Rob Halford. I also love Tim Ripper Owens, man, who also sang for Judas Priest. Ripper actually went on to sing for Iced Earth on the Glorious Burden album, where they did a 30-minute epic on the Battle of Gettysburg. One of his best musical performances ever. Tim Ripper Owens is fucking phenomenal. Probably one of my favorite Iced Earth albums and songs of all time. Jacob Donnelly with a $5 Super Chat. Love the double dose of OTS and Solid Monster sounds off on this Sunday even. Keep up the great work. That's Solid Monster, man. He's a good dude. I miss doing commentary with him. Hopefully soon. Ty Sloan, $1.99. Thoughts on Leonard Skinner and AWOL Nation? Never heard of him. Leonard Skinner, Freebird is one of the best guitar solos of all time. Danny Fox with a $4.99 Super Chat. Not Jesse's biggest fan, but my condolences. Keep up, or keep your head up, he says. Danny, you don't have to be a fan of Jesse at all. The fucking guy's going through a treacherous time right now. Show some respect. Has nothing to do with you being a fan of anybody, man. Munchie Time, $4.99. Prayers to Jesse and his family with their loss, and to anyone here that is having trials in life. OTS for life. Thank you, Munchie Time. Horatio with the $5 Super Chat. How many people know the Saudi deal means Mansoor is a future WWE champion? God, I hope not. Mansoor was undefeated for 50 matches in a row, I believe, until Sheamus beat him by DQ. There goes that. WWE seen that stat. They were like, how fast can we fuck that up? Edgar Estrada with the $20 Super Chat. JD, bro. Nothing but facts. You were speaking on these releases. Good luck to Velveteen Dream. It's in the law's hands. OTS Live, they're always great. JD doing God's work. Send Jesse and his family my condolences. Peace. OTS for life. Thank you, Edgar. Thank you, buddy. Kenley Pierre with a $3.99 Super Chat. I meant to say Fiend to destroy Roman. I like Cena. No, the Fiend is not beating Roman Reigns. Get the bullshit out of your head, man. The Fiend doesn't deserve to even breathe the same air as Roman Reigns. Get the fuck out of here. You gotta be kidding me with that shit. Why would you want that? Stay off my television. Guys, I am getting out of here, man. We were here for almost 3 hours. Holy shit. I appreciate everybody that stopped by, man. We just hit 1,000 likes on the live stream. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome, man. Live OTS. I could get used to it, bro. Antonio with the $2.99 Super Chat. ROH signed Alberto Del Retard. Also, prayers for Jesse. Did they really? Oh, man. Jesus Christ, man. Ty Sloan with a $1.99 Super Chat. Who's got better villains, Batman or Spider-Man? Batman. I'm a big Batman mark, bro. Guys, I appreciate everybody that stopped by. I appreciate appreciate everybody that liked the video, that left a super chat, that tuned in today for a mega off the script. I could get used to this live on Sunday, man. I will be back live tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw. We all know what to expect. It's another Monday night. So get your pillows ready, fluff them. Make sure you got the hot green tea on reserve. You're going to need it, man. It's going to be another 3 hours of torture. Brand new week of content. Raw, NXT, no AEW on Wednesdays. I got to figure out what I'm doing. AEW's not going to be on Wednesday this week, man. I may give you guys some extras this week. Some OTS extras. Friday, I'll be live on YouTube for SmackDown, and then Saturday morning, early, 7 a.m., I'm flying down to Jacksonville. I'll be there. Meet and greets happening. I'll talk about that this week as well. I'll be at the Fan Fest for Double or Nothing, and I'll be at Double or Nothing with my press passes, man. Appreciate it. Everybody in the chat, leave Jesse some prayer emojis. We love Jesse. He'll be back when he's ready, man. He's not going anywhere. Danny Fox with a $1.99. You missed my super chat about Zoe Stark, bro. I didn't get it. Tony Storm is greater than Zoe Stark. Guys, I'm getting out of here. I appreciate all of you. I need 2 things from you. Number 1, give me those guitar emojis. And number 2, that music you're listening to right now. I want it on max. I'm getting in the Mustang. The windows are down. It was 90 fucking degrees today, man. I'm hitting the highway. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Right back here on OTS for Monday Night Raw. I'll see you guys later.